Hi, good morning, everybody. Can I be heard? Am I heard? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, Anil, I can hear you.
Morning. Good morning, Aditya ji.
Good morning.
Okay, so I'll mute myself now.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to tell anything before the presentation, because it's the first time I'm doing it?
No worries on that. You just go ahead and start your presentation once you'll be when Hemant just hand it over to you.
Okay. And
good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning, Hemant.
Yeah, good morning, Subrat.
Good morning. Good morning, Aditya.
Yeah.
I'm able to be audio. I'm audible to everybody.
I'm doing. Yeah. Very clear. I'll just do a screen sharing. Let me know if you all can see the screen. Host enabled participant screen sharing.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll make you that. Anil, I'm hearing some background noise.
Yeah, there is one very huge BMC work going on. They're laying a water pipe outside our office.
Okay.
It's on the main road, Mahakali Road. Everybody is being disturbed by it. I can't make it
Okay.
quieter. Can you just help me with the screen sharing? I'll just see if it's working.
I'll do that.
This one. This is. So I'll keep this on.
We are gathering, like it's just that we'll start after 10:30.
Okay, no problem. So I'm doing a screen sharing now.
Probably you may have to do something for this background noise, like in
Can't do
case
anything.
If there's any window or something which can be closed.
Is that bad or what? Is it that strong?
Yeah, that's it. I was just
Let me try and reinforce that. It's only getting worse. Can you all see the screen?
Yes, we can see the screen. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, I'll just do a run on this. Just tell me if you're wanting this. You guys are the champions.
Aditya ji, I'll also need a little bit of help on screen sharing.
Yeah, like you want to try it now before the meeting starts.
In case it's so that I'll be able to relate it properly.
I have given the right to you. You want to try it?
How do I do? I do share screen.
Do you all get to see the full screen or is the?
It's full screen.
अच्छा, मतलब अपना जो Zoom का participants है वो नहीं दिख रहा है ना?
नहीं, that you won't see.
अच्छा, ठीक है. So today's presentation will be primarily on RERA. Instead of putting in too many topics, we can just do a concentrated approach on RERA, and we can take questions on RERA because that will be more interesting. Then as we go ahead, we can focus on cooperative societies, redevelopment, SRA issues.
We can take this offline.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Aditya ji, I'm not able to do that.
Maybe Anil.
I'll have to stop. I stopped my screen share.
Hi, Hemanji. Subrat, do you want to try once?
Only for a brief 2 seconds. Just want to see how it is coming out on the screen.
Yeah, I have given you the access, right?
No, but it's not coming. Let me just try again.
You will see an option, share screen. You will have a
Yeah.
pop-up which will help you, or like it will display what are the screens you can select. So you just select the screen which has the PPT, and then it will be,
But my
and you'll have
desktop
to
is
click
not.
that select also.
The desktop is not coming here. Just a second.
So do you see a share screen option on the Zoom window?
Aditya, can you hear me?
Yeah, Hemant sir, I can hear you.
Yeah, you have to make me a host so that I can
I'll
see
do
the
that.
screen.
I'll do that. Yeah, Subrat, we can see your screen. You just need to press F5 to make it full screen.
I am getting this thing. I'm not trying to, share my screen.
So when you see 76% written at the bottom, you have a cup shape sign there. You can click that and it will make this full screen. On the right and bottom, you see 76%.
Just wait.
Thanks, Aditya. Thank you very much.
Yeah, perfect. So good morning, everyone. We are just gathering, and we'll just give a couple of minutes for everyone to join, and then we can just start. We are before time, and it's good to see people coming on time.
Can you make today's speaker as co-host so that, later on we need not bother about it?
Yeah, I have done a couple of them. I will do it for others.
Some of them might be joining later on, so I think then we will have to make them again.
Yeah.
I hope you can see that this VIVEKPATRA on the screen.
Yeah,
right?
I can see that. And maybe in case you want to make it full screen, that will be good. Slide mode. F5 will be helpful. Like if you press F5, it will. If it's not working, then you on the bottom you see.
No, I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
What will be the flow of the presentation starting at 10:30?
Yeah, we'll start at 10.
Initially, initially all of these things, warm welcome and all those things. After Mr. Jayesh, I will be there to speak about 10 minutes. Let's start.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after, I will ask Mr. Subrat Udgata to speak.
Okay.
shall we start? Or should we wait?
Yeah, we can start now. Like,
so good morning to everyone. A warm welcome to Think Tank Global Finance Conclave. And myself is Hemant Mehta, Think Tank Chapter Leader. Welcome you all to Think Tank Global Finance Capital Market and Home Summit. The good, the bad, the ugly, investor empowerment. Today we have Think Tank Summit usually held in March every year for all stakeholders in finance, corporate affairs, industry, and profession. Think Tank has been in existence since more than a decade. Idea conceived on 6 January to have conferences, conclave with CEO, CXO, CFO, analysts, and specialists sharing the experience and real-life examples. Our panelists are finance leaders working in the reputed companies or profession since many years and have a deep domain knowledge. Think Tank platform now digital has crossed over 16,000 views on digital medium and expanding rapidly to LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. Our participants and experts have rich experience in industry and profession who have done CPA, ICAW, CFA, CA, CS, CS, and CMA, and various professional degrees. Even some of them are IIM, DISA, FRM, IFRS specialist, BTech, Master, PhD, etc. And holding all these professional degrees. They are sharing their experiences, knowledge, wisdom in India, spreading globally constantly since over a decade as a reach out initiative globally. You can visit our website on www.thinktanks.co.in. In spite of limited resources, as a participant, you are aware. Today we have launched much awaited. In fact, it was been launched in last second only. One kind of newspaper that is approximately titled Think Tank at VIVEKPATRA, India Growth Story. You can see it on the screen also, cover page. We have very important topics, example, the regulatory framework and due diligence. It has been compiled by Mr. Subrat Udgata. Forex economics update, which has been compiled by Harish Madan. Data services, including regulatory societies, false, cases and other topics like cases of Mementos by corporate Mementos committee, reached to auditors and MC members under the IPC for falsification of accounts, disciplinary action, RPA for cooperative and local bodies, consumer protection, which has been compiled by Anil and Ashna ma'am. Blockchain and bitcoins, which has been compiled by Ashpari. IPO reviews and market trends, which has been compiled by Sandeep. All with real life examples. Introduction of Subrat Uganda that we will be taking once I will from Subrat Uganda. We would like to present him the Memento in today's session. After our initial speeches, our initial session is over. So, by introducing this, I think we will straight away start with the updation on insolvency. As you know now, insolvency, there was already in insolvency and bankruptcy court. There was a moratorium period, which was which was up to 25th of March 2015, wherein one cannot file case against any of the any of the corporate debtors, which is resulting due to COVID. So now that period is over. So now there will be, it is anticipated that more than, there will be a flushing of the cases which will be highlighted to the case because of the, default which is occurred by the companies, maybe due to non-payment and non-payment of the dues or financial debts. this is one of the things. The bad loan clocks has already been started ticking against with the Supreme Court stay that barred banks from classifying cash NPAs that is non-performing assets after August 31st. The ban was already there from August 31st to March 25th, 2021. Also, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code will start operation after a year's gap. And what impact will this development have on banks? It is experts are in the view that there will be a rise in gross NPA level for banks as pro forma NPA will now become actual. We have analyzed the number of 22 large banks that have reported pro forma NPAs, with the Supreme Court saying that stay is being lifted. This figure will become actual NPAs and expected to increase in a number of folds. So let us wait and watch how many cases will be there for insolvency, and there will be it is expected that as in the other countries also, the number of cases has already gone 3 to 4 times multiples. This is also, it is expected in India also that the number of cases for insolvency will be definitely that will increase. Friends, we have today one of the resolution professional, a leading resolution professional, Mr. Jayesh Sandraska, with us. And if I can see Mr. Jayesh, Jayesh, can you just, I think that you are there or not, I will have to check it out because I cannot make it right now. Mr. Jayesh Sandraska is there or not. Hence, he is about to join. Meanwhile, just a minute. Anyhow, Mr. Jayesh Sandraska will share his live experience for the case which is one of the big cases in the Bombay, which has been resolved, and NCLT has already given the order in favor of resolution. It was one of the big case, the biggest case, and it was studied in acres in Mulund near Thana area, and that company was being taken over by a very big company in which is number one company in South in Bengaluru, Prestige, and it has been resolved technically by Jayesh Sandraska. So he would be sharing. He will be sharing his experience for how he has solved, how he has resolved the entire CARP and how the case is resolved. Meanwhile, I would like to, share. I would like to show you something which we have designed for one of the members. If you can see on the screen. Can you see on the screen? So it is towards the mark of our love and affection to Mr.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you indeed.
And for his contribution to Think Tank group, and from all of Think Tank team members who has, towards the mark and,
I feel honored and privileged.
Yeah, Subrat.
I thank you. I thank Mr. Vivek, and I thank Mr. Agrawal, and I thank Mr. Alim Chandani, who is a mentor and a great senior for me. Thank you very much, all of you.
Yeah. So, Mr. Udgata, this copy will reach to you within a couple of days from Mr. Manoj offices. And meanwhile, I request you to start your presentation.
I'll start my presentation.
Just a minute. Before that, I think I will have to just a minute. Because Mr. Jayesh wanted to call me, so I will use the make sure, sir. Mr. Jayesh, are you there? Actually, I cannot see his face just
Maybe he is facing some technical issues. He is not yet joined.
okay, fine. So definitely we will be taking him later on the later session. Just a minute, let me try to just reply this message is there or not. Okay, sir. I think meanwhile he will join, and let me introduce Mr. Subrat. He's a domain expertise in the fiduciary role of trustee, that is venture, not trustee, security trustee, AIF, share pledge trustee, etc., mutual funds, and insurance, life and non-life, both, then debt market and equity market. He possesses a rich experience in a different level of management, starting out as a first level direct group officer AO with Life Insurance Corporation of India Limited, as well as the Oriental Insurance Company, followed by marketing and business development and responsibilities on a pan-India level on GIC Mutual Fund and BIA Capital, and now is IBA Trustee. The broad area of responsibility have revolved around business development, marketing, consultative sales, and advisory products, distinguishing issue management, equity and debt placement, after sales operations, underwriting, claim, mortgage, structuring, customer services, as well as regulatory from statutory compliances. So with this, I request Mr. Subrat to take his presentation forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Hemant Mehta ji. Thanks for your kind words of introduction. I'll start my presentation. Before that, let me just thank Mr. Alim Chandani once again, and I'll start my presentation right away.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Yes, I'll just a second. I'll do
Manoj, you want to speak something?
And I'll start with the presentation. At the end of the presentation, we'll just have a word of discussion again.
Hello.
Just a second.
Hello.
Manoj, yeah.
Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you very well with NSC behind.
Oh, wonderful. The NSC and the whole world is behind us, the universal cosmos. Well done, Hemant. Bye. Excellent show. Well done, Aditya. And well done, Subrat. It is indeed a great moment for the India growth story. And everybody, all the panelists, all the participants contributing to this great moment. So wonderful initiatives by Hemant Bhai, Subrat, Udgata, working over the years and contributing to the India growth story, page by page, slide by slide, patra by patra. Indeed, a great moment, and it's a personal privilege and honor for me to be a part of this great moment. And digital global finance, capital market and home summit. Indeed, I bow down to you all, and please take it forward, including the Health and is Wealth series, which is dear to every global citizen. And let's pray, and the universe cosmos helps the India growth story achieving the targets set, that India should be having the highest growth in world in the right spirit with right ethics and integrity, which is vital. It is also essential the people who come on this platform, participants, panelists, have ethics and integrity and subscribe to the values and objectives which have been clearly enunciated by Mr. Hemant Mehta, Subrat Udgata, and all the esteemed panelists and participants. Great moment. Let's have the carry on the show and let it spread worldwide to every citizen through integrated efforts of everybody.
Yeah, I thank Mr. Manoj, Mr. Aditya, and Think Tank Group from the bottom of my heart for presenting such a nice topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Manoj Jalamchandranji and Mr. Aditya and Mr. Hemantji. Thanks everybody. I'll start my presentation now.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
sir.
Uh, the topic for the day is Due Diligence Series, Regulatory Developments and Role of Debenture Trustee in Monitoring the Securities for Listed Debentures, the latest development which has taken place offline. So this is a presentation at Think Tank Global Conclave Digital Meet. Today is 27 March 2021. Then I'll just skip to the next one. Think Tank VIVEKPATRA India Growth Story. It's a movement. It's a great movement, and we should all, like-minded people, should contribute to the effort which has been initiated by the team at VIVEKPATRA. The disclaimers are there. This is just my own views, my own compilation with various sites which I have referred to, various legal sites and various CS sites, on Vinod Kothari and others, etc. So that is how it is compiled. So this is my own and not my company's view. So I'll just academically, whatever is of learning which we have till now, and that is being expressed in this presentation. Coming to the debentures and bonds, so there is a difference in the definition, both in Companies Act 1956 and Companies Act 2013, as well as ILDS regulation of 2008. See, in the Companies Act 1956, the debenture, they said it included debenture, stock, bonds, or any other securities of a company, whether constituting a charge on the aspects of the assets of the company or not. But in 2013, this was slightly tweaked. So it included debenture, stock, bonds, or any other instrument. This any other instrument was added there of a company evidencing a debt, whether constituting a charge on the assets of the company or not. There is a rider here, provided that the instruments referred to in the Chapter 3D of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934 and such other instruments as must be prescribed by the central government in consultation with the Reserve Bank of India issued by a company and shall not be treated as a debenture. So these two riders are there in the Companies Act 2013. But in case of ILDS regulation, debt securities, they have said, means any non-convertible securities which creator or acknowledges and includes debentures, bonds, and securities of a body corporate or a trust, and etc. That there are various points there, sir. Now we'll go to the private placement of debenture issuances over the past few years. From 2010-11, if we see, the private placement debentures have been going up gradually, and for the past 3 years, it has been in the range of 6,74,000. You can say around 7 lakh crores for the past 3 years. So there's not much of a variation even during the COVID year. There was an expectation that in COVID year the debenture issuances may come down, but it has not come down. The demand for the corporates to raise funds to take care of the COVID situation has empowered the industry in terms of raising of the bonds. If you see the breakup between listed BSE and NSE and both, these are the breakup charts which are there. So normally NSE, as usual, is slightly on the higher side. So they as a premier stock exchange, they have been covering the ground very well in the past. So most of the debenture issuers prefer NSE to get listed. Nowadays, both NSE, BSE are at par to some extent. Now, if you see the outstanding public issue of debentures, no, this is again the issue size which is there. Just a second. So in 15-16, it was issue size was 33811.92 crores, and gradually it has been going up. If we see the outstanding corporate bond, it is around 32.5 lakh crore. So this is the outstanding in the sense like the previous debentures which are issued, that is issued for a longer term, maybe 5 years, 10 years, maximum up to 10 years the NCDs are issued. except the infra bonds, etc. Infra bonds are raised for a higher period of 10 years kind of thing. But so those bonds till maturity, that outstanding is calculated, it is around 32 lakh crores. But a lot of research players like CRISIL and all have proposed that in the next 5 years, the 32 lakh outstanding bonds may go up to 60 lakh crores, 55 to 60 lakh crores going forward in 5 years. Now we're coming back to debentures versus bonds. If you see in the, there is a definition in the Stamp Duty Act, because nowhere in the, if you see the regulatory aspects of the country, there is no distinction. Debenture and bonds are assumed in the market practice to mean the same thing. Because a lot of PSUs, when they raise the NCDs, they term it as bonds, whereas debenture NCDs are also there in the market. But the fine distinction, slight differentiation is in the Stamp Duty Act, where they have said the debenture includes debenture, stock, bonds, or any other instruments of a company evidencing a debt, whether constituting charge on the assets of the company or not. And they said any other debt instrument specified by the Security Exchange Board of India from time to time. Whereas in case of bond, they have said any instrument whereby a person obliges to pay money to another on condition that obligations shall be met, and if it is void within the specified period, if it is not performed, then it will not be considered. So any instrument, sorry, any instrument attested by a witness and not payable or to order or bearer, whereby a person obliges himself to pay money to another. Any instrument so attested whereby a person obliges himself to deliver grain or other agricultural produce to another. But this, in the Stamp Duty Act for the bonds, they have not included debenture word. So this is just a variation in the Stamp Duty Act. But more or less in the market practice, NCD and bonds are taken as one issue. There is a nomenclature variation only. Now, if we see the difference in the bonds and debentures, how they are stacked, I mean, how they are classified. See, normally it is based on the type of issuance, whether it is a public issuance or a private placement, listed, unlisted, secured or unsecured, and rights and bonus issues. And in case of bonus issues, the company does it by capitalizing its reserves only. So that's called a bonus debenture issue. In case of rights, also in the similar manner they do it. So these are all various classifications based on the type of issuance. But based on the other aspects like tenor, see, some NCDs are for 10 years, some NCDs are more than 10 years if it is infrastructure. Then seniority of the charge holder. What is the charge holder security creation? So this is another variation where the differentiation comes in the NCD issuances. The nature of guarantee. What kind of guarantees are offered in the NCD issue? Convertibility, whether it is a fully convertible debenture or partially convertible debenture. So these are sort of certain variations of the types of debenture issues in the country. Ratings. Now some may have a AAA rating and some may have a AA minus rating. So that is also a differentiator. And of course, the major aspect is the coupon rate. So coupon rate will basically depend what is the arrangers decide the coupon rate for the NCD issuer. So they normally scan the market and find out the appetite for the NCD issue, and based on the similar, based on the issuance in the similar nature, they arrive at the coupon rate for the issuer. And similarly, options to redeem, whether the put call option is given in the NCD issue, so that gives a differentiator in the NCD issuance. The end use of the NCD proceeds. So there are different utilization elements involved, where they will be utilizing the resources which they generate through NCD. NCD is basically a debt of the company. Now the regulatory framework, these are the few laws which cover the debenture issuance in the country. Companies Act 2013, Section 23, Section 29, Rule 9A, Section 42 with respect to Rule 14, Section 71 with respect to Rule 18, Section 179, 180. And SEBI regulations, SEBI issue listing of debt securities, SEBI debenture trustee regulations, SEBI issue of listing non-convertible debenture preference shares, SEBI issue of capital and disclosure requirement regulation 2018. Excuse me. The FEMA rules also applicable for fully convertible debentures, and mostly green bonds or the masala bonds kind of thing, where the rupee denominated foreign bonds are issued in foreign countries for the foreign investors. So FEMA non-debt instrument rules, FEMA debt instrument regulations, FEMA borrowing and lending regulations, and then RBI, directions on raising money through private placement of non-convertible debentures by NBFC, HFCs. This has come recently. Then RBI Master Circular on Basel III norms, Master Directions of the NBFC, ND, etc. So these are the few regulations which are bearing on the instrument called debentures in India. The issuance of instrument called debentures in India. Now, in case of listing, the recent regulatory framework has come out with changes that in case of what is the requirement and timing they have specified, making listing applications to stock exchanges and obtain listing and rating permission. Earlier, it was no such time was there. Now the time limit is fixed. So it has to be within T plus 5 days for public issue. For private placement, it will be T plus 4 working days. So for trading commences on T plus 6 for public issue, and for private placement, it commences T plus 5 days, T plus 5 working days. So this will be effective from October 1, 2018 for public issues, and for private placement, December 01, 2020, which is again revised to 1st April 2021. The debenture redemption reserve. So this is a vital importance in view of the defaults which are taking place in the market first 2.5 years, starting with the ILFS, etc. So the created out of the profits available for payment of dividend, created in respect of debentures maturing during the year ending March 31 next year, amount that can be utilized for payment of redemption of debenture. This is the concept of debenture redemption reserve. Now the debenture redemption fund, minimum 50% amount maturing during the year ending March 31 next year shall be invested, deposited in any one of the following mode. It has to be either deposited in settled commercial bank, unencumbered securities of the central methods of deposits, or from any charge or lien, government or any state government. Unencumbered securities, bonds issued by any other company notified under the Indian Trust Act 1882, or investment or deposits to be made on or before April 30 of each year. So these are the components of the debenture redemption fund. Now, if we come to the other aspects of this, these are as follows. For all India financial institutions, for public as well as private issuers, there is no applicability of DRR as of moment. But for banking companies, it is for similar. There is no provision for that. For listed NBFC and HFCs, there is a 25% of the outstanding value which was there before August 16, 2029. But from June, again, it has changed to 15% of debenture maturing during the year ending March 31. This will be the best for the calculation of debenture redemption reserve. So for unlisted NBFC, HFCs, nothing is there. For other listed companies, similarly, 15% of debentures maturing during the year ending March 31. This will be effective from June 12, 2021. June 12, 2020. Now the next one is status post listing under Companies Act 2013. So section 252 of the Companies Act defines listed company as, which means a company which has any of its securities listed on any recognized stock exchange, provided that such class of companies which have listed or intended to list such class of securities as may be prescribed in consultation with the Securities Exchange Board of India shall not be considered as listed companies. This will be effective from January 22, 2021. So this is the rule which will be having the post-listing requirement under Companies Act 2013. The MCA notification dated February 19, 2021 following companies from the definition of the listed companies. Public companies with listed NCDs or NCFRS, NCRPRS issued on private placement basis. Private companies with listed NCDs in terms of SEBI IRDS. Public companies with equity shares exclusively listed on foreign stock exchanges. This amendment is effective from April 1, 2021. This notification has come on February 19, 2021. Now, to give you an overview of what is the market in terms of debenture issuances and NCD issuances kind of thing. So you have listed entities. It could be a companies or other bodies kind of thing, autonomous bodies, etc. And in case of companies, you have a public company or a private company. In case of private company, it has to be listing of debt securities they have to do, and privately placed also they can issue. And for public companies, they have listing of equity, listing of preference shares, listing of debt. This is with the perspective of listing in respect of companies. Now, listing of equity they can do through public offered or through listed company. Publicly offered, in case of preference shares, it could be publicly offered or privately placed. For listing of debt securities, it could be a public issue or a private issue. And in case of public issue, it has to be mandatorily be listed company. Private companies, listing of debt securities, privately placed. For other bodies, autonomous bodies, etc., like NHB, Indian Water, Inland Water Authorities, etc., companies act not applicable, SEBI regulation to be applied as appropriate based on the instrument. See, for an autonomous body like NHB or for that matter Inland Water Works, the organization is set up by a statute of the Act of the government, statute of the Parliament. But the instrument which is issued by these bodies are governed by SEBI regulator. So the Companies Act, though not appropriate, the SEBI regulation will be applicable to the instrument which they are issuing. Now, coming back to the new circular which came on November 3, 2020, which will be applicable with effect from April 1. Maybe 2-3 days down the road, this applicability will kick in the country. So now, who will carry the due diligence for a NCD issue? Now, the onus is now put on the debenture trustee. Earlier it was there, it was a compliance requirement, but it was post facto. Once the issue, listing, everything was done, so they have to give quarterly compliances, the issuer has to give quarterly compliances, etc. But now SEBI requires that before the issue hits the market, the issuer has to give upfront the unencumbered assets for creation of security. So that diligence has to be done. This has been getting implemented with a view to check, with a view to have a gatekeeper role on the trustee, so that the issuances are filtered at a first level itself, which will minimize the default chances going forward. So you cannot say it will eradicate default altogether, because it depends on the various other factors involved. But in the first instance, as a gatekeeper, the trustees level itself, some screening method is applied so that the issue within the four corners of the regulation is able to service the debenture holders. So now who will carry out this due diligence? It will be carried out by debenture trustee by itself or through its advisors or experts. Here, debenture trustee will depend on the various valuers, advocates, chartered accountant firms, or other agencies in the market for carrying out this debenture due diligence. Now, what all they will verify? In case of assets, they will verify on the encumbrance of the assets, necessary permission, consents, etc. Verify from ROC, sub-register, subsidy, information utility organizations, or other substance, etc. available in the market. Like CBL also, they will check for the if they're giving a guarantee, etc. If the guarantor, what is the net worth of the guarantor, etc. These things they'll check from the CBL, etc. Excuse me. In case of conditional consent, verify the validity from the terms of transaction documents. Intimate the charge holders via email about proposal to create charge and wait for comments, NOCs, for the next 5 working days. So this is in case where there is a conditional consent from the issuer is obtained, where the issuer is submitted. In case of personal guarantee or corporate guarantee, DT to verify relevant filings on MCA, stock exchange, CBL, information utility, etc. Preparation of reports, by itself or through the appointed agency. CA firm, registered valuer, legal counsel, etc. They will be the engaged. There will be a panel at all the trustees end to select any of the panel members to carry out this due diligence requirement. The client has to select any one of the empaneled CA firms or the legal firms or the registered valuer to carry out the diligence of their issue. Now, this will all be part of the diligence report, valuation report, ROC search report, title search report, appraisal report, asset cover certificate, any other report certificate as applicable, etc. This is in the North Cell. Now, furnishing of due diligence certificate by the trustee. There will be 2 times where the due diligence certificate will be provided by the trustee to the issuer. One at the time of filing draft OD of a document, private placement memorandum, information memorandum, and other at the time of filing the listing application. So at these 2 points, trustee will give the due diligence certificate to the issuer for the listing formalities as well as the issue opening formalities. So subject to necessary disclosures in the OD, information memorandum and private placement document, private placement memorandum about the information on consent, permissions, creation of security, and all other covenants. Due diligence certificate to form part of a document or information memorandum, etc. Now, DT is required to independently carry out due diligence with respect to security Further, the DT is required to independently assess whether the assets for creation of security are adequate for the proposed issue. This is a vital importance because as a gatekeeper, DT ensures this is done and this is effected. The DT also is required to perform certain checks to verify that the assets provided to the issuer for creation of security are free from encumbrance and that necessary consents have been obtained from existing charge holders, if any. In case a conditional consent has been issued by existing charge holder, like in case of major PSU issuances, there are many debenture holders. The issuer, what they do, they take a blanket consent from the charge holders. So in those cases, specific attention will be given by the DT to see that the assets are in order and unencumbered assets are there. The DT should intimate them via email about the proposal to create for the charge and seek their comments, objections, which should be communicated to the DT within 5 working days. This is in case where the conditional consents are obtained, so that DT writes to the debenture holders or the proposed debenture holders to give the consent accordingly within 5 working days. Further, in respect of guarantees, the DT is required to verify the relevant filings made on the websites of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Stock Exchanges, CIBIL, etc. to obtain necessary appraisal reports and financial certificate in respect to the guarantor. So this is most important because a lot of corporates, when they issue NCDs, they give a corporate guarantee kind of thing. So this is also taken care of with this measure. The DT is required to issue a due diligence certificate addressed to the stock exchange as per the format specified provided in the regulation, and which is adequately disclosed in the OD, private placement memorandum, etc. The disclosures made in the ODIM about creation of security are in confirmation with the DTA. So DTA will all include all these conditions beforehand when the issuer signs with the DT before issuance of the NCD. All covenants proposed to be included in debenture trust deed are disclosed in the OD. So the upfront, the issuer will disclose all the covenants which will be there in the part of the DTD. Whether issuer is filing the draft OD or IM through electronic book mechanism or serially printing the PPM, it should submit the due diligence certificate as mentioned above to the stock exchange. So this due diligence certificate issued by the trustee, this has to be submitted to the stock exchange by the issuer. The records and documents pertaining to due diligence record are required to be maintained by the DT for a minimum period of 5 years from the redemption of the debt securities. See, for example, the issue is for 10 years. After 10 years, for 5 years, this record has to be kept with the DT for any verification or inspection purposes, etc. Now, the due diligence of DT will also cover this further aspects. The issuer should create the charge as specified in the ODIM in favor of the DT and execute the debenture trust deed with the DT before making an application for listing to the debt securities. The stock exchange will list the debt securities only upon receipt of a due diligence certificate from DT in the format specified. The charge must be registered with the relevant authorities within 30 days of creation of such charge. These are all the charge registration in Sursay and other platforms, etc., which are the public domains for benefit of the other issuers. Disclosures in the offer document, private placement information should be made in addition to this required under the ILDS regulation. Debt securities will be considered as secured only if the charge asset is registered with the sub-register of assurance and the registered companies or Sursay or the depository or all of them as applicable or is independently verifiable by the DT. The terms and conditions of the DTA, details of security to be created and process of due diligence carried out by the debenture trustee. Due diligence certificate. These are the 3 requirements under ILDS regulations. SEBI has introduced a standardized procedure to be followed by DTs in case of default by issuers or listed companies, listed debt securities, which is applicable to all issuers who have proposed to have their debt securities listed, as well as all DTs registered with the SEBI. Now, in case of an event of a default as reckoned at the International Securities Identification Number level, that is the ISIN level. So, under the LODR regulation, a default has been defined as non-payment of the interest or principal amount in full on the pre-agreed date, which will be recognized at the first instance of delay in the servicing of any interest or principal on debt. So, any of this event happening at the ISIN level, the following process will be followed by the DT. In view of the fact that multiple ISNs may have been issued under the same IM or a single ISN may have been split across multiple IMs, SEBI has clarified that the event of a default will be reckoned as ISN level since all terms and conditions of issuance of security are same under single ISN, even though they may have been issued under multiple IMs. Excuse me. Consent of investors for enforcement of security, the signing the intercreditor agreement. This is a new provision which has come of late by the RBI, which has said that RBI had on June 7 issued the RBI Prudential Framework Regulation Directions 2019. In terms of the RBI directions, investor in debt securities, being financial creditors, may approach by other lenders of the issuer to sign ICA in line with RBI directions. As per the resolution plan under the ICA, may involve restructuring, including rollover debt securities requiring consent of investors. The following process of seeking consent for enforcement of security entering into ICA has been specified. The DT shall send a notice to the investor within 3 days of an event of default. The aforementioned notice shall contain negative consent or proceeding with the enforcement of security, positive consent for signing the ICA, the time period within which the consent needs to be provided, and the date on which meeting will be convened. So these are the methods in case of a default for ICA signing, which the DT will follow. On the date on which the meeting will be convened, DT shall convene the meeting of investors within 30 days of the event of default. In case of debt securities issued by way of public issue, the notice sent by DT shall not contain the negative consent for proceeding with the enforcement of security, and the requirement to convince a meeting for the enforcement of security as mentioned above shall not be applicable. The DT shall take necessary action to enforce security or any other or enter into ICA as decided in the investors meeting. However, in case where the majority of investors express their dissent to enforcement of security, the DT shall not enforce security. In case where majority of the investors express their consent to enter into ICA, the DT shall enter into the ICA. In case the consent is not received for enforcement of security and the signing of the ICA, the DT shall take further action, if any, as per the decision taken in the meeting. So the consent of the majority of the investors shall mean the approval of not less than 75% of the investors by value of the outstanding debt and 60% of the investors by nature at the ISN level. 60% of the investor by number. This is vital. See, suppose the issue is for 1,000 crores. So in terms of the consent, it has to be 750 crores in terms of value, and number wise it has to be more than 60%. Suppose the investor base in that 1,000 crore issue is 1,000 investors are contributed to the 1,000 crore issue. So the number has to be more than 600, and out of those 600, the value should be more than 750 crores. So that is how this consent will be considered as valid. Now, there are a few conditions which have been laid by regulations for signing of the intercreditor agreement. The DT may sign ICA and consider the RP on behalf of the investors upon compliance of the following. The signing of the ICA and agreeing to the RP should be of interest to the investors, should be in the interest of the investors. Further, the ICA and the RP should be in the compliance with the Act, the Securities Contract Regulation Act, SEBI Act, and the rules, regulations, circular issued thereunder. If the conditions imposed on the DTs are not in compliance with what is mentioned here in above, the DT shall be free to exit the ICA altogether with the same rights as if it had never signed the ICA, and the RP will not be binding upon the DTs. The RP shall be finalized within 180 days from the end of the review period. If the RP is not finalized within the aforesaid period, the DT shall be free to exit the ICA altogether with the same rights as if it had never signed the ICA, and the RPA will not be binding upon the DTs. However, the finalization of the RP extends beyond the aforesaid period. The DTs may consent to an extension beyond 180 days, subject to the approval of the investor regarding the total timeline. However, the total timeline shall not exceed 365 days from the commencement of the review period. So these are the timelines which are set by the regulator requirement, so which is of vital importance. Recovery expenses. This is a new provision which has come just to check this default, basically, which has happened of late in the market. See, there's an introduction of a recovery expenses fund. So regulations 26 of ILDS regulation has been amended to provide that the issuer is required to create a REF, a recovery expenses fund, in the manner as may be specified by SEBI from time to time, and inform DT of the same. In furtherance to the said amendment, SEBI wide its circular dated October 22, 2020 outlined the manner of creation, operation, and utilization of the recovery expenses fund. For existing issuers whose debt securities are already listed on stock exchanges, SEBI has given an additional time period of 90 days to comply with the terms of this circular for creation of REF. Now, who will deposit this amounts? The issuer proposing to list debt securities is required to deposit an amount equal to 0.01% of the issue size, subject to a maximum 25 lakhs per issuer towards the REF with the designated stock exchange. So the issuer will deposit this money with the stock exchange. Manner of creation and maintenance of recovery expenses fund. At the time of making the application for listing debt securities, the issuer is required to deposit cash or cash equivalent, including bank guarantees, towards the contribution to the REF. In case bank guarantee provided by the issuer, the following conditions would be applicable. It should remain valid for 6 months post the maturity date of the listed debt security. It should be renewed at least 7 working days before the expiry date. And on failure to renew maintain validity of the bank guarantee, the stock exchange will invoke such bank guarantee. Where the contribution is received from the issuer in the form of cash, the designated stock exchange is required to invest the same in government securities, treasury bills, or fixed deposits with a settled commercial bank, gilt, debt mutual fund, debt exchange traded funds. The income interest earned from this same will be added to the REF. So here 1.49 point to note is that it will be invested in debt mutual funds or debt exchange traded funds. So in the debt mutual fund, all your short duration fund, your various credit opportunities fund, and even mutual fund, liquid funds will also come into play. On the occurrence and the event of default, the DT or the lead DT as chosen by the other DTs, there are instances where in case of issue, there are 2 or more debenture trustees involved for the same issuer for other debentures, etc. So it is required to obtain the consent of the holders of debt securities for enforcement of security and inform the same to the designated stock exchange. Within 5 working days of the receipt of such intimation, the designated stock exchange should should release the amount lying in the REF to the DT and lead DT. And DT is required to keep a proper account of all expenses incurred out of the funds received from the REF towards legal expenses, cost for hosting, meeting, etc. towards the enforcement of security. So this is very important because in case of a public issue, the number of debenture holders is very high. At times it goes up to 20,000, 30,000, etc. So to organize the meeting and all that at a common place, at a suitable for everybody, those things incur a lot of cost. And so through this REF, certain element of that cost may be met, and it will be easier for the DT to implement the regulatory processes involved. Refund of balance in the recovery expenses fund to the issuer. The balance in REF will be refunded to the issuer on repayment of the holders of debt securities on their maturity or at the time of exercise of call or put option, for which no objections are issued by DT to the designated stock exchange. However, the DT should be satisfied that there is no default on any other listed debt securities of the issuer before issuing the aforesaid no objection that way. This is very vital because see, say for example, a big group has so many other companies and group companies. So if there is a default in one group company, so this issuance of no objection DT maybe it will be held up. It will create a time lag for the issuer to get it cleared. This is the format which is there in the SEBI circular, which is accessible on the net itself, which has given this is how the certificates will be issued to the stock exchange. These are all various amendments which has happened to the trustee regulation. Regulation 14 of the DT regulation has been substituted to provide that a DT is required to accept the trust deeds which contain the matters as specified in section 71 of the Act from SS 12 specified under the Companies Act, where such trust deed has to now consist of the following 2 parts. So this is a standardization of the documents which the new regulation requires for the DTs to follow, and accordingly all the issuers to follow. Part A will contain the statutory standard information pertaining to debt issues. Part B containing details specifics to the particular debt issue. Requirement of due diligence. Regulation 15T of the DT regulation specifies duties of the DTs in cases where listed debt securities are secured by way of receivables, book debts. Regulation 15T has now been substituted to widen the duties of the DT to provide that in such cases the DT is required to, on a quarterly basis, carry out the necessary due diligence and monitor the asset cover in a manner as may be specified by SEBI. So now, earlier it used to be once in a quarter basically. Now this, I mean, that certificate, asset utilization certificate, etc., asset cover certificate. Now each year 4 times the DT will call for from the issuer. Earlier they used to give once in half yearly kind of thing. So this is a change which will be implemented. On a half yearly basis, obtain the certificate from the statutory auditor of the issuer, giving the value of recovery receivables, book debts, including compliance with the covenants of the other document, compliance of the offer document or IM in the manner as may be specified by the SEBI. The debenture holders meeting, pursuant to regulation 15B2B of the DT regulations, the DT is required to call a meeting of the debenture holders upon happening of any event which constitutes a default. It has been amended to broaden the requirement of convening a meeting of the debenture holders, even where there is any breach of covenants under the OD, IM, etc. This is another point about the independent due diligence. Regulation 15.6 of the DT regulations has been added, specifying additional duties of the DT to exercise independent due diligence before creation of a charge on the security for the debentures to ensure that such security is free from any encumbrance or that necessary consent from the other charge holders, if any, has been obtained in a manner as may be specified by regulator from time to time. Intercreditor agreement signing, this has been discussed. The DT has been empowered to enter into ICS on behalf of the debenture holders as provided under the framework specified by the RBI, subject to approval of debenture holders and the conditions as may be specified by regulator from time to time. Now, this applicability of this circular of November 3. These are all various aspects which need to be covered. In case of security creation, there has to be upfront for both private placement issuance or public issue. The execution of DT and security creation, this is to be upfront for both private placement as well as public issue. The monitoring of covenants, both financial and non-financial covenants, need to be monitored. Financial ability of the issuer to service the debt to be certified in the debenture due diligence certificate. The applicability of the asset cover certificate to be issued to the issuers, PSU banks who have issued unsecured NCD bonds, etc. The asset cover certificate is applicable to all the issuer companies, irrespective of secured, unsecured issuances or constitution of the issuer. So, irrespective of the issuer constitution, whether it is secured, unsecured issuances, etc., the asset cover certificate will be required. The unsecured issuances incorporate any amendmentary letter to avoid non-compliance. There is a slight relaxation. In case of unsecured issues, they have to incorporate an amendmentary letter in case they're doing the non-compliance of this provision. So whether the entity is exempted under Regulation 52 are required to submit the half-yearly SASER certificate, etc. Pursuant to the Regulation 56, the banks, NBFCs, etc., or regulated financial entities are also required to submit statutory auditors asset cover certificates. However, they are exempted from disclosing these line items in their financial statements as per Regulation 52. Procedure to be adopted for conducting due diligence in case of securities. In case of securities are receivable, unlisted shares including valuation, pledge of shares in physical form. As per external provision, the relevant laws, further only dematerialized shares offered as security would be acceptable as security for listed debt securities for the purpose of pledging in line with RBI Master Circular number DBOD dated August 28, 1998, titled Bank Finance Against Shares and Debentures, directing banks to grant advances to borrowers against the shares and dematerialized form. These are all additional conditions. Clarity on whether the November 3 circular is applicable to unsecured debt issuances or to subordinated debt issuances by bank, FIs or capital requirements specified by RBI. These provisions of the circular and the requirements of issuance are attached as per the said transactions, are attracted for the said transactions. The circular will be applicable for issuances for which in principle approval is received prior to April 1, 2021 and final approval post April 12. This item B will be applicable for issuance in which principal approval for listing received prior to December 31, 2020. Issuance are under existing self-prospectus umbrella structure where security is upfront created for umbrella account. All issuances after April 1, 2021, the provisions of the circular dated November would apply. The final one, the issuances under existing self-prospectus for tranches where security is pending and proposed to be created post January 01, 2021. All the issuances under existing self-prospectus umbrella structure where security is created upfront for umbrella amount need not comply with the same. However, if for any subsequent tranche or security is to be created, they would need to comply with the provisions of this circular. Whether due diligence certificate issued under ILD Resolution for public issuance continue. Single diligence certificate Annexure A of the circular dated November 3, 2020 will be issued irrespective of the nature of the underlying issue. Further, specific consent is required from each of the charge holder in terms of clause 43B of November 20 circular, where the existing loan debt documents mention that the issuer may undertake further borrowing and create further encumbrances as long as security cover and other covenants are maintained. If no, whether the intimation under 6.1 is required to be sent to such creditors. Transaction documents with underlying supporting as proof of compliance with the conditions that to be submitted by issuer. Intimation to all existing charge holders trustees is to be sent. So this is the requirement for this last item basically. There are a few other conditions. Is the standard procedure prescribed in circular dated 13th October to applicable in cases where there is a subsisting default on the 13th October, or if there is a default in loan exposure but not in the underlying debt issuances, if the RBI circular battery download chargeable sound. If the RBI circular dated June is invoked. So this is if the default is existing as on 30th October. It is not applicable in case subsisting defaults. If the document has a cross default clause, then applicable, otherwise may not be applicable. The said circular is applicable in case of a default or interest redemption principles of breach of covenant or terms of issue connected with debt securities and steps outlined in para 6160 of SEBI dated October 13 to follow, and thereafter necessary action is decided in the meeting of the holders of debt securities in this regard. Whether statutory auditors of the company can provide due diligence report in case of securities receivable or on one rely to the statutory auditors certificates provided on half-yearly basis in lieu of quarterly independent monitoring for September to March quarter. Quarterly monitoring for all 4 quarters irrespective of the half-yearly monitoring by statutory auditor of the issuer. So this is an additional measure which the DT has to take up with all the issuers. Covenant monitoring, whether it will be financial monitoring or all covenants, it will be all covenants monitoring, both financial as well as non-financial. Frequency for valuation of unlisted shares yearly. How all the statement of physical shares be obtained on quarterly basis. Guidelines, directions regarding pledging of shares only in demat form to be allowed. This is for the shares pledging. Frequent issuer requirement or TSR or valuation reports. This will be done on an annual basis. Corporate guarantee or any other document with similar intent is offered as security. In case of corporate guarantee is a listed company, then latest available audited financial statement need to be submitted. Applicability of circular dated November 12, 2020. The provisions of the circular dated 12/11/2020 on monitoring and disposal of debenture trustee shall be applicable from the quarter ended 014/2021. The continuous monitoring by debenture trustee. Enabling provisions to be inserted under DTD. Terms and conditions for the periodic monitoring by debenture trustees shall form part of the DTD. For existing debt securities, issuers and DT shall enter into supplemental amended debenture trust deed within 120 days from November 20, incorporating changes in the DTD. Submission of periodic reports to the DT in order for the DT to submit reports to the stock exchange. Reports and asset cover certificate periodicity will be within 60 days from the end of quarter. Value pledged securities, statement of value of for debt securities reserve amount. This will be all within 60 days from the end of the quarter. Net worth certificate in case of personal guarantor, 60 days from the end of the each half year. Audited financials for the corporate guarantor, 75 days from the end of the financial. Of the residual information. Asset cover certificate and quarters within 6 days of the end of the quarter. Status of breach of covenants, terms of the issue. Half-yearly basis within 60 days of the end of the each half year. Similar thing for complaints received by DT, including default cases. Monitoring of utilization certificate, annual basis within 75 days of the end of the financial year. This is about the stamp duty. The new regulation of stamp duty has come of late. So this is all for the issue of debentures, physical and demat. It will be rate of stamp duty will be 5,000 per 1 crore, and value on the stamp duty will be charged, issue price, allotment list. It will be payable by whom? It will be payable by issuer. For reissuance of debentures, it will be 10 per 1 crore. Consideration mentioned in the instrument, it will be payable by the issuer. And in case of a transfer, demat and not transferred through stock exchange, rupees 10 per 1 crore. Consideration mentioned in the instrument, delivery instruction slip, transfer of the debenture. Demat and transfer through stock exchange, the value on which stamp duty to be charged, it will be market value and it will be payable by the buyer. This stamp duty regulations also need to be cross-checked with the local lawyer involved with the stamp duty aspect for further verification of those rates also. Now coming back to the continuous compliance under LODR, etc. So Regulation 6 of LODR, there will be requirement of appointment of compliance officer along with these obligations. There are different fines for different provisions of this LODR regulations. These are all list of various regulations under LODR which will be applicable. So this in fact has been compiled from one of the CS sites only. I'll just quickly run through these slides. So quarterly compliances is one is Regulation 13.3 of LODR, submission of statements of investor complaints to stock exchange. If it is not done properly, there is a fine of 1,000 per day beyond that particular limit. So Regulation 7.3 of LODR, submission of half-yearly compliance certificates, similar fines are there. For Regulation 52.1 of LODR, submission of financial results and other information, rupees 5,000 per day beyond that particular limit. Disclosure in line with disclosure in line items along with financial results. There's a heavy penalties introduced as per the Companies Act, as per the LODR law for this non-compliance of LODR regulations. There are a few annual compliances, including half-yearly compliances for LODR. Regulation 14, 52.3, 53, 50, 55 of regulation of LODR is important. Obtaining annual review of credit rating with respect to NCDs. This every annual they have to get it from the rating agencies. These are again various LODR regulations. I'll just quickly run through this. This is important. Regulation 62 of LODR, website disclosure. Advisory warning letter per instance of non-compliance per item, rupees 10,000 per instance for every additional advisory warning letter. This is very important. The issuer has to disclose this on the website for any advisory letters which they have received. This is also PIT regulations, provisional insider trading regulations, which the issuer needs to comply. This is an additional provision for closure of trading window in case of debt listed security, debt of listed company. So April to June, period of trading window in case of debt listed entity has no holding company, it is not required. If from July 1 till 48 hours of the declaration of the consolidated result by holding company. These are all price sensitive information. So closure of the trading window in case of debt listed companies needs to be followed as per these provisions, and by referring to the regulatory provisions also. Now, few amendments to the ILDS regulations. Change in the definition of private placement. In the ILDS regulations, prior to the amendment, the definition of private placement provided that the offer shall be made to less than 50%. But pursuant to the amendment, the definition of private placement has been linked to the provisions of the Act. Currently, the maximum number of persons to whom a private placement offer can be made is 200 in aggregate in financial year. Now, in case of DTD also there is a change. So amended regulation provides that the debenture trust deed in case of a public issue should contain the matters prescribed under Section 71 debentures of the Act, Companies Act 71, deliberates on the issue of debentures, and form number SS12. This should form contents of the debenture trust deed for the companies. Further, such trust deeds should consist of two parts, Part A containing statutory standard information and Part B containing details specific to the particular debt issue. Excuse me. Creation of security. The issuer is now required to give an undertaking in the information memorandum that the assets on which charge is created are free from any encumbrances, and in case where the assets are already charged to the security, the permission or consent to create a second pari-passu charge on the assets of the issuer has been obtained from the earlier lender. Now, various disclosures on the ILDS regulations. Schedule 1 of the ILDS regulations, which sets out the disclosure required to be made in the disclosure document for listing of debt securities issued by your private placement, has been amended to include the following additional information which should be incorporated in the summary term sheet for the issue. Recovery expenses, these are all new provisions which need to be added there. Recovery expenses 1, including the details and purpose of the REF, all covenants of the issue, including site letters, accelerated payment, etc. Conditions for breach of covenants as specified in debenture trust deed, description regarding security where applicable, including type of security, movable, immovable, tangible, etc., type of charge, pledge, hypothecation, mortgage, etc., date of creation of security, likely date of creation of security, and risk factors pertaining to the issue. Additionally, a note has been inserted in the Schedule 1, which provides that it is a duty of the DT to monitor that the security is maintained. However, the recovery of 100% of the amount will be dependent on the market scenario prevalent at the time of enforcement. This is very vital because, see, the issuer might have put some collateral at the time of issue, which will be unencumbered and meeting with the requirement of the law. But 10 years down the road, when it is enforced, so the market situation may be different, and the underlying collateral may not carry the same value which was at the time of issue. So this is a factor which is also inbuilt into the regulatory aspects also. The details information with relation to assets on which charge is proposed to be created. This is a slight elaboration of the point which the due diligence is required from the issuer companies. In case the details of movable properties are given as a pledge or as a collateral, the entire list to be enclosed as a detail of movable properties. Details of immovable property, including revenue, survey numbers, boundaries, measurement, etc., that needs to be submitted. And investors, the investments list, wherever they are going to put this investment also on the REF, the fund redemption reserve fund, etc., needs to be given. Details of receivables list to be enclosed. Details of debt reserve service accounts, projects, accounts, escrow accounts, etc., if any. Title deeds, original, certificate, true copy by issuer, certificates, true copy by existing charge holders. These are all condition precedent documents which will be required from the issuer before the issue document is submitted to the DT for vetting. Latest title search reports in relation to immovable properties, including list pendants comprising searches taken in the registrar, sub-registrar office, revenue officers, central registry, securitization assets, reconstruction, security interest, litigations issued by a legal counsel, advocates to be the extent applicable based on the proposed security. Latest ROC search report by a practicing company secretary. Valuation report from a government approved valuer, and such a report must provide for site inspection by the valuer. And copies of the relevant agreement declaration memorandum which pertains to the secured assets proposed to be charged, mortgaged, placed, or secured in the debentures, along with confirmation from the issuer that the same is valid as on date of the confirmation and there are no further amendments or revisions of such documents. Income tax declaration, clearances under Section 281 of Income Tax Act 61 for the properties, assets proposed to be charged or offered as security, borrower, mortgager, guarantor, pledger, third-party security provider, companies, bodies, corporates, etc. Or in lieu of this, they have to give a certificate from confirmation of the statutory auditors, chartered accountant on nil tax liability and no notices under the Income Tax Act 61. So these are all few provisions, condition precedent list with the issuer has to comply. There's an extensive list beyond this also. So for the brevity of time, we have just outlined a few parts on the documents. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody. Thank you for a patient hearing. And any questions you have, I'll take it up right now.
Excellent, Subrat. It's really indeed a very, very delighted lead presentation with your knowledge and sharing real life experience. You have been a delight to everybody for the India growth story. And with your consistent efforts also to it reaches every global citizen and also secures the interest of the global investor foreign investor, Indian investors in the capital market. Investment in debt instruments with security and teeth given by the regulator to the trustee, it will make a major difference, isn't it, Subrat?
Correct, very correct.
And with security ensured, with regulations which have been formed, with inputs from all, with proper discussion papers, proper consultation, it will also enhance the equity market. Isn't it true?
See, obviously, debt and equity markets are two parts of the coin. So, I mean, both complement each other. So, if there is a regulatory requirement on the debt side, that will also get its impact on the equity market going forward also. So, both the markets has to be, the integrity of both the markets needs to be evolved gradually and simultaneously. And in the equity market, in the Indian context, it has been highly developed till now. But with this measures of the government and the regulators, policymakers are doing a lot of things in the depending on the debt market. So things will again catch up on the equity market front. And both the markets develop simultaneously, it will bode well for our country's growth story.
Subrat, you have rich experience over 30 years. You have also interacted with global investors, being part of foreign funds, right, with international partners.
Correct.
And you have also great experience in merchant banking with one of the most renowned merchant bankers, who has been also a great history of development of finance, supporting the infrastructure, the grassroots of the India growth story. And also now wearing many hats, different hats. Finally, this many of our forefathers talked, everybody is a trustee, or everybody should be a trustee, isn't it? Correct. Securing the interest of all society members and all participants, all citizens. So the overall greater role of you as a citizen being the trustee, how do you see the India growth story, and what efforts you and other citizens, capital market participants, home market participants, everybody who has a home or who is participating in the digital story, Digital India, Startup India, Make in India, and the Universal India contributing to the whole planet Earth. How do you see overall this perspective? If you can share, it will really give additional delight to all the participants watching you across the social media or multiple platforms initiated by you and other team members.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the nice question. See, I'll tell you, overall, India, if you see, India is targeting a 5 trillion economy going forward. This COVID year has been a dampener, but again, touch wood, India's V-shaped recovery till now. And going forward, whatever the pent-up demand of the corporates are there, that is getting reflected on the market with higher raising and with higher capex plans planned out for the next year onwards. It is expected to bode well for the economy per se. Now, going forward, the foreign investors have evinced much interest in India with its reforms which have been brought in about. A lot of reforms have been brought about by the government. The recent PLI scheme, which is introduced by government, will be a major change, will be a game changer for the Indian market going forward. The various productivity linked incentive scheme, which is be outlaid for the infrastructure sector, will give a tremendous boost. And if we see the news reports of yesterday, one of the leading industrialists of the country and a leading top high net worth individual of the world has said that the opportunities for entrepreneurs in India will be numerous and it will be humongous also. So that straight away says what is the future of India going to be. So from this inflection point onwards, we see a good scenario going forward. So that's what is my take on the future of the Indian country.
Any insights from anybody else? Really welcome. Hello. Who is this? Hello, Manoj. Yeah, you can join. Oh, join. Okay, okay. Everybody is waiting. Okay. Really wonderful. Any buddy would like to share the views? Archana? Anil? Anil?
Yes, sir. I'm online, sir.
Yeah, can you share your views on the wonderful, delightful presentation on India growth story by Subrat?
Yeah, surely. It was a very
We are waiting
detailed.
for Archana if she can supplement the views.
Surely. It was a very detailed presentation and it was quite exhaustive and comprehensive. And I'm sure we're looking forward to more such presentations by sir. And I look forward to the next presentation.
Anil, put your video on. I think we can't see you.
Yes. Hi, everybody.
Wow, wonderful. How are you, Anil?
Good, sir. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Mr. Udgata, I think
the India growth story and regulations for the debt market.
Yes.
Your thoughts on that and how Subrat has delighted us.
Yeah, actually, it was quite a detailed and presentation, and at many stages there was a lot of introspection that I was doing, like what have I done in the past, and is this the right way? And there were a lot of other value-added slides, and I was quickly making notes of that, and I'm sure sir will enlighten us in future as well. Thank you so much.
Anil, some simple questions or tough questions for Subrat?
No, at this point of time, I think sir has covered all the topics.
Archana?
This is an evolving area because the DT, this role has not been appreciated in the market to a great extent earlier, because this was given that it's a mandatory service. So you're planning an issue, you got to appoint a DT basically.
Right.
But over the period of years, with this gatekeeper role being bestowed on DTs, the regulator wants the kind of first screener role to be played by the DT. Right. Which will be of paramount importance. Because this has, because entire, if you see our economy, this all started 4 or 5 years back when the policymaker dabbled with the idea of NCLT. Why did the NCLT come into the wing? Because NCLT came into the wing because a lot of defaults were happening in the corporate segment. So as an extension of that, defaults happened in the NCD issue front also. And the latest one happened in the 81 bonds also. One of the leading banks, 81 issue, was written out. So the common investors who are deposited there, they're left in the lodge. So these kind of scenarios to check and create a checks and balances through the trustee at the first level skinner will be of paramount importance in developing the integrity of the market going forward. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Archana?
Thank you, Subrata ji. It was a wonderful presentation. There is some disturbance.
I'm not able to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now tell me.
So can everyone mute because there is some disturbance? Just a moment.
No, I'm not able to hear.
Yeah. So thank you, Subrat, for your wonderful presentation. It was quite a detailed one, as Anil said, and really it led us to a lot of introspection into how we can do better. And it is a totally new field. So thank you for throwing light on this particular field.
Yes. Thank you very much. See, due diligence is a major forte of chartered accountant firms, because earlier due diligence in the Companies Act is a different story altogether, and that has been continuing forever in India. But this due diligence part from the debenture trustee is a new concept which has been brought about from the ambit of due diligence.
That's great. So, Manoj, can we move to the next one now?
Yes.
So, Manoj, can we move to the next one?
Yeah, sure. We can certainly move to the next. In fact, Harish Madan is sharing his views on Forex and market updates but he is now traveling for 5-10 minutes. He would join. In the meantime, I think if Anil D'Souza can start, and then Harish can take up later, because we know lots of traveling and connectivity issues are there. So now it is Archana, you have to handle the and moderate the summit.
Yeah. So thank you, Manojji, for giving me the. It's indeed a great pleasure to introduce Anil D'Souza, my batchmate. He's a LLB and MBA, and he has rich corporate experience working with Reliance Broadcasting Networks as well as ICICI Bank. He is an expert in the field of RERA, MahaRERA, redevelopment issues, cooperative societies, as well as handling white-collar crimes. He is also the honorary secretary of the MahaRERA Bar Association. And I was just seeing that there are lots of news articles about him also in Mumbai Mirror, and about the cases that he has won. When Anil decided to give this presentation, he said that he thinks of himself as a small think tank candle to enlighten the stars of the think tank. So welcome, Anil. This is just a short introduction, and although there are many other achievements, due to paucity of time, I'm not going into much detail of that, because in the interest of everyone, so that we are able to listen to you more and imbibe more from your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Archana, just a minute before you start the PPT. I just mentioned after your topic was announced, Anil, and vast experience, hundreds of queries have come. Hundreds of queries have come on this topic and the series you are doing. Some of the issues are relating to harassment of society members by the managing committee members who appoint themselves illegally without proper elections, and they bulldoze elections and they forge minutes. And quite a few queries have come about condominium. What is it? Maharashtra Apartment Owners Act, and how some of the members bulldoze and use it for commercial purpose, although it is not mentioned in the Maharashtra, in the deed of apartments, which is there in the Maharashtra Apartment Owners Act. No, of course there are Owners Act, RWAs all across the thing, but it is co-ownership. Whether there are 10 flats, 15 flats, there are people who bulldoze and use it for commercial purposes, shop purposes, although it is not in the deed of apartments. And they appoint themselves as secretaries and also appoint auditors without consultation on the members. And auditors also are doing in a lot of wrongdoing and thinking they are not under watch. And auditors, whether they are members of professional bodies, they feel disciplinary action will not be taken, or there'll be a soft approach because they are members and other members also doing wrong things. This has come to light. There are lots of questions on Consumer Protection Act, on redevelopment, how people have got trapped by appointing by some of the MC members appointing builders without the knowledge, in spite of regulations being strengthened. And EGMs also, and EGMs are meant to be by digital. People have said, well, people have passed away, they are not being admitted as provisional members. Who are you? You know, although the law says provisional membership is essential. And also harassment cases by MC members who are doing actual brokerage transactions, you know, offering flats as summaries and making money. And some are doing in their family members' name. Gross abuse is going on, and lots of hundreds of questions. Many of them has been shared with you. Please share real life examples in a series. This is a summit, major event where actually most of the participants are speakers and lead presenters. So this will obviously be a shorter thing. Feel free, you can do any number. I believe you had planned 3 series, but feel free to cover real life examples in any number of series as long as Archana is ready to moderate and on appropriate date and time. And whenever you are ready, I believe you have said voluntarily you are available as a helpline to guide all the people, and because of deep knowledge. You have been, another thing is you have been a corporate person. You have corporate experience. This is what the platform is all about. People have corporate experience and then they use it and become profession, and they know how corporates work, how organized corporates work, a corporate with good governance, and obviously you have experience in corporate with good governance. That is shown on your LinkedIn profile. Lots of people have seen, and now it is over to you and Archana. And we look forward to Jayesh Bhai, whom Hemant is trying to connect, who will come for 10 minutes. He could not connect, and Harish Madan. And then we have blockchain Aishwarya. I wonder if he's there. Yeah, and Mr. Sandeep on a deep dive on IPO reviews. And so get the benefit. Request all of you to be there, get benefit, and last 10 minutes we'll have open house. Anybody can share views on any topic, and all the panelists can answer, contribute views on any topic, not only the topic of lead presentation. Right, Archana?
Absolutely, Anil. We're really looking forward to your presentation, and especially with regard to even the banking guidelines pertaining to the escrow account and how the funds are required to be deposited. Also regarding the NOC which the banks issue, in case of project financing. So even that, if you could cover, it would be great. All right, over to you, Anil.
Thank you so much, Manoj sir and Archana ji. Thank you so much for your valuable time on a Saturday, and of course all the participants who are here logged in with us. And also Archana, thank you for the wonderful introduction. It was like I always say, just like my presentation, follow the principle of KISS, keep it short and simple. So yeah, we will be, of course, now since we are going to have a 3-part series, we are going to bifurcate this series into, first we will be looking at the latest act which has come, the RERA Act 2016, and the institution of the RERA in Mumbai, Maharashtra as well. And the second part will be covering the society and redevelopment issues. And we will also be trying to get in the Consumer Protection Act somewhere around the second and the third presentation. And we'll also be looking into the condominiums and all the other issues that are coming along with it. And of course, you all brought up a lot of points on the elections and how managing committees are managing the societies, and members are, some of them being antagonized. So we'll be looking into each of them, and thank you for the questions that are pouring in. We will be taking each of those questions offline as well. But today we will be just focusing on the RERA and the RERA Act, so that everybody gets a brief understanding of what the RERA is all about. So I shall be now doing a screen sharing. So then we will be going through this very in a very brief way, so that everybody has a knowledge of everything that is on the slides. We will not be getting into the details now. Of course, you can contact us later. So I'll be doing a screen sharing now.
And contacts are to be done only through proper platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook.
Absolutely.
Clearly. No phone numbers and no email IDs to be shared here.
Absolutely. Okay, so can we begin now? Okay, can everybody see the screen? Hello?
Those who are not participating, I hope they are on mute, so there is no background noise.
Can everybody see the screen? Can I begin?
Yes, Anil.
Okay, so primarily, as I said, we will be looking at the RERA Act 2016 and on the RERA.
Raising of hands after that 30 minutes PPT is over, then we can take that. So the proper flow is there, proper content is there. We will be having proper interactive sessions. Anybody at that time need to put the video on so we understand the type of person and his perspective.
We are doing this presentation at the Think Tank Global Conclave, the digital meet today, the Saturday, 27th of March. A few links that are given over there. The mandatory disclaimer, which we all follow religiously. This is some of the important links. Of course, Google is the big guru over here. and everything is available. But of course, for the sake of process and information flow, we have for regulation, we have the MahaRERA website, the link which I've given over there. RTI, which is now a very important tool in many of our hands. And we have an RTI at the national level. And of course, there are a lot of authorities which come under the state level. And therefore, RTI at the state level is different from the national level. Then we have the BMC portal, because a lot of these projects, as they are going through the various departments and stages, every stage is put online, which you are, I'm sure many of us are already aware of. And therefore, the BMC portal is very, very crucial. And of course, the other authorities like SRA and whatever authorities you would like to know, of course, it's available on Google, but you may contact us as well. Oh, what is this? Roti, kapda or makhan, classic, revisited today. So we all know the physiological requirements of a basic human, and that is food, clothing, and shelter. And when we have shelter, the other two fall suit, So makhan is very, very important. And that's what this presentation is all about. A lot of our points have been covered by the media as well. For example, when there was a change of leadership at the MahaRERA, we had put forward our points. Then also the advocates that are practicing at the MahaRERA, we formed our own bar association, and we act as an osmosis, as a body which communicates between the bench and of course the bar as well. Some of our orders, which are benchmark orders, for example, the RERA primarily focused, the MahaRERA primarily focused on the RERA Act, but of course the Contract Act is also quoted very often at the MahaRERA during the adjudication process, which we all should be aware of. What about projects that have completed, but which have received an OC? So MahaRERA has jurisdiction over those projects as well. This one of the landmark orders was also covered by the Times of India. So let's begin our presentation. We are currently going to focus on the MahaRERA, the authority, and of course, a few points on the appellate tribunal as well. What are the objectives of this presentation and the flow? We're going to look at the Real Estate Regulatory Authority and the appellate tribunal, the project registration, agent registration, just a brief slide on that as well. Importantly for everybody, filing of complaints. Why RERA is so important, the financial discipline that it brings in this sector, which is very, very important, and thereby transparency and customer centricity. We will be sharing a very few case laws as well, just to enlighten everybody. Now let's look at the authority. The act was passed in 2016, and it came in force on the 1st of May 2017. And under this act, the government of Maharashtra established a very important institution, two arms of that institution, the regulatory part as well as the adjudication mechanism. So this is a very, very important landmark date. 1st of May 2017 is also the Labor Day and Maharashtra Day. And June 1st was when the first litigation started in the MahaRERA. Now, what are the objectives of the RERA Act 2016? Importantly, ensuring disclosures of real estate projects by promoters. So now there is a complete understanding of every project, and also at various stages that they are. And therefore, real estate project registration. This is critical. The last time I did this presentation, we had 17,000 projects which were registered under the MahaRERA. I'm sure the number has gone up now. And of course, real estate agents registration as well. Agents cannot be brokers for a project without getting registered. Complaints redressal, which is a 50% focus of the MahaRERA, and 50% is the regulation part. And also continuous recommendations to government on matters relating to this very important and crucial sector. Now, why go to MahaRERA and why can't we go to any other courts? And this is very important. It's known as the bar of jurisdiction. No civil court shall have jurisdiction to entertain any suit or proceeding of any matter on a project which is registered under the MahaRERA. Now you will tell me, but there are so many projects not registered as well. What about them? So we'll come to that as well. So this particular section moved a lot of matters out of other courts like civil courts, where matters used to go on for 3, 5, 7, 10 years, and sometimes probably see the light of the day after indefinite years. But this important bar of jurisdiction brought all matters under one roof, especially for projects registered under the MahaRERA. Of course, now because of the evolutionary aspect of litigation, the Consumer Court also has certain matters which go to pertaining to projects which are under MahaRERA, and also, of course, the Bombay High Court, which is the authority. Now let's look at the real estate project registration. All commercial and residential projects have to register under MahaRERA, except where the area of land proposed to be developed is less than 500 square meters. So these people do not have to register, and above that, yes, you have to. And where the number of units to be sold are less than 8. So if it's less than 8, then the project need not be registered. But of course, no, most of the projects, I would say 99.9 are above 500 and above 8 units. And therefore you have to. But what about projects which have received completion certificates? Also, these projects which have received completion certificates from the authority, which in Mumbai is the BMC, they need not register under the MahaRERA. So that means all commercial and residential projects. And if you do not register under the authority, then you cannot do your marketing, advertising, selling, or allotment of any apartment or block if you do not register under the MahaRERA. So therefore, registration is mandatory for marketing, advertising, and selling. There is a section also under the Act. This is the one which I was talking about. You cannot advertise or promote, book, sell, or offer for sale any project which is not registered under MahaRERA. In fact, the registrar's offices at various locations in Bombay also have guidelines regarding registration of apartments or flats if they are registered under MahaRERA only. So they can proceed only if these projects are registered under MahaRERA. So you can imagine the far-reaching consequences of the Act and of this institution. So like I already mentioned to you, where CC is received by a certain project, they need not be registered under MahaRERA. And now you will tell me, but a lot of projects in Bombay are also getting part OCs. What about them? Well, during the adjudication process, we have seen that these projects also are not mandatorily registered under MahaRERA. Now, why should a builder register? What are the incumbent factors for him to have his project registered? Now, the reasons are, if he fails to register, then he should be liable to a penalty which may extend up to 10% of the project cost. Now, that's a huge amount. So therefore, he has to register his project. On continued violation, that is, if he's been told once, you have to register, but he does not register, then all the penal actions start. Like, for example, imprisonment for a term of 3 years and a fine over and above the fine of 10% of the project cost. And therefore, automatically in the year 2017, we saw a barrage. More than 11,000 projects got registered within a very short period of time. And by December 2017, the number of projects registered in Mumbai, of course, Mumbai being the beacon of light and guidance for India, a lot of projects were registered already in the MahaRERA headquartered in Mumbai. Now, I would like to take you down just some screenshots on the navigation. I would have loved to do it online, but let's do a few screenshots on how we navigate this website, which is important. It's an extremely user-friendly website, and the provisions for changes and for adding new fields is amazing. So, of course, all of us by now are extremely net savvy. And so this particular website gets my 100% respect, because of its ease of navigation, the amount of information which is available, and a lot of other areas which can be added later on, which MahaRERA keeps on doing continuously, for which we should give them full points. So let's start with.
You can navigate online for 5 minutes. We often do navigation in the market on global websites also, in usually after 150. Just 2-3 minutes to get a glimpse, you can do that.
Yes. Okay.
If it works, depends on your connectivity.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
This has been done for global markets. It has been done for stock exchanges. It has been done for tax sites also.
Excellent. Is the screen visible to everybody? Is
it online? It is very, very clear. Is it online?
Yes.
Yeah, it's online.
Oh, wonderful. You've done it. You've done it.
No, I've not done anything. Okay, you guys have done it. All right. So this is the fantastic and the most amazing site, I would say, after Google. This is a site I love. So this is a very user-friendly site. The menus and everything are so clear. And I will only take you to the more important slides, which is of value to everybody, because everybody in our family or friend circle or those contacts that we have, everybody has some connection or with a new project or a redevelopment issue or something. So this site has to be mandatorily star marked and bookmarked by everybody. And let's go through it. I'm sure 99% of the people online right now have already seen this site. I'm 100% confident of that. So
no,
let's
in fact,
see.
not even 1% have seen it.
Oh my God! Don't tell me.
No, Anil, I have seen this site, and I have also navigated some other state RERA sites.
Right.
Since I was working on one of the audits.
Right.
And there I found that there was no uniformity between various state sites.
No, वो तो है नहीं, because it comes under the state government.
So in that respect, I had some difficulties.
Right.
Because the account numbers in which the amount has to be deposited,
right.
I'm trying to get that, but in case of few states, I have not got that.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
That's very important feedback.
There have been many investors and also owners of flats who are staying, and because they have been threatened directly, indirectly in various ways by the builders and also by the so-called MC members who occupy positions illegally. So they wonder what is the use of this regulation and Indian litigation system. So forget about it. They just heard about it, even though they have high stakes. They don't even bother to know the website address and see the kind of protection available to them. That is a real fact on the ground level.
But something like I always go back to that phrase of the Ramayan, where it is said Sita ji ne tinke ka sahara bhi liya tha. So this is something like that for us. We have something with us. It's not that we do not have ammunition, we do not have information, we do not have access to authorities or judicial bodies or a regulatory mechanism. So in that respect, I feel that the central government coming out with the RERA Act and the state government of Maharashtra and Mumbai, of course, again being the head office of MahaRERA, the efforts that has been taken to establish this institution and to bring this hitherto unregulated sector under adjudication and regulatory mechanism is amazing. So, and being in Mumbai, we have the privilege of having this wonderful institution right next door. So from my side, total and full respect to this efforts by the state government and the entire mechanism of MahaRERA, which keeps this system going on and moving at such amazing speed. And as advocates, we interact a lot with the MahaRERA team. Their approach has always been evolutionary. You give them feedback, you tell them about any change or any provision that has to be included or something which has to be looked into, and the turnaround time, the response is very good. So in that term,
you mentioned this website is next to Google. I only appreciated that partly because Google has an Indian CEO. Otherwise, I don't want the word next. It is along with, and the best way you can do to see this one along with Google, people get to know, is to see your smiling face along with this online presentation, which is on social media, YouTube, which is a part of Google, and also Facebook. It reaches a level of subscriptions and viewership. So it really becomes well-known globally, and even other states in India and other states in different countries have a type of regulation like this, and which is also improved continuously by inputs with stakeholders like you and Archana and Hemant and all the participants here. Right? So you have to make a commitment that this presentation of yours on social media and this RERA site get as much response as Google, which has an Indian CEO. Is doing
now,
it. Not easy. It's going to be tough.
Very importantly, we were told that before the authorities instituted this website and the physical framework of infrastructure in this institution, we were told that there was a study done of real estate regulatory authorities in Australia, UK, Dubai, and Bahrain. And based on the best points or the best practices amongst these countries, and I'm sure they must have looked at many more, based on the best learnings also, areas to improve and areas to address, this is the best that we have got. So from that point of view, I feel that the effort gone to create this is really mandatory, and really hats off to that, and a lot of respect to the effort. So then I checked on the websites of those other countries as well, and I found that ours actually was the best. Because, again, ease of navigation and information available.
In your next PPT, give the links to the sites of all the other countries.
Surely,
because
yes,
it's global
yes.
presentation.
Definitely. We were told about these 4 authorities. I'm sure they must have done research on many more. So we will now go ahead and we will first see what about a project which is registered under the MahaRERA. If somebody wants to buy a flat, or somebody is purchased into a project and we want to know more about this project. So how do we go about? So we see over here these menu options which become a beautiful vermilion color. So we have skilling initiative, and there you are, registration. So when you see this registration option, you have registered projects. This is, of course, I would say the centricity of the entire presentation. Then you have, of course, agents and the other options. But let's go in registered projects. Okay. So when you click registered projects, you come onto this page. You land on this page, and then you have your registered projects over here. So you just click onto that, and you put any name that you have a project name. So you put the project name. For example, I will put Bougainvillea. Let me see. Okay, so there you are. So there are 2 projects. There is Bougainvillea and there's a Bougainvillea B. So one is by RERA Realtors, and this is the last modified date. Any updates that have been done on the site. This is where you view details of the project. This is a thumbnail view of the same option. This is a certificate, and then you will see something. This is a certificate issued digitally by the RERA when you register a project. And here you have an extension. So the certificate has to be renewed on a periodical basis. Therefore, you have an extension certificate. So you see RERA promoter has gone in for extension, but the other developer, AptCon, who could be having no relationship with the previous one, has not gone in for an extension. Okay, interesting. Now let's see what view details is all about. So we click into this option, and a page opens which talks about information, the organization. I'll not be going into detail because you can do this at your spare time as well. Address of the office, contact details. Again, you see it's not holistic. There's just one board line over there. Other projects of the same developer. We see 3 of them over here. Member information, the managing director and authorized signatory. You also have a photograph there. Oh yes, there is a photograph. Okay. Yes. So you see the compliance levels by the builders is amazing. They are they're filling in every field, which again is to be respected. Now here is the project details. Now, very importantly, we have to look at the second line. So I'm repeating this again. You have to look at the second line. Why? Because it says proposed date of completion, which means the developer had a particular date in mind when he would complete this project. He was not able to do that. So did he go for a revision? Oh yes, he went for a revision, but here he has not changed the date. Therefore, that somehow gives me the idea that this project is still not complete. Most of the promoters would have changed this date to a new date. For example, it could have been 30th of April 2020. Oh, but here again, now I am being corrected. It says extended date of completion. So very clearly in a snapshot, we see that a particular date was promised. It could not be adhered to, and therefore we have an extension. Now remember, this extension is with the authorities itself. It does not change the status of the possession date given to a flat purchaser on the registered agreement. That's very important because that date is sacrosanct. This is the commitment that the promoter is making to MahaRERA. That is important. Are there any litigations related to the project? Here it says no. But most of the developers, whenever they have litigation in other courts, other forums or authorities or tribunals, that is all listed on this page, which is important now, because if you see that there are 100 or 50 or 10 or 20 matters already in other courts, then you will be taking a call on buying a flat in the same project. So this line also is very important. Okay. So then it talks about the address, the CTS numbers, FSI details, which is being developed, bank details, IFSC code. Wow, excellent. Then the project details. Now this is very important because you will say now, first thing that I see over there is the number of garages. Okay, so this garage issue is a very big issue when people are buying into flats. So this is something which gives you a clear snapshot. It's a dashboard of how many garages are proposed, how many are already booked, how many are there covered, and therefore the previous line says it was an open parking. Then the next page, the next heading, development work. This is important because this has to be continuously updated by the promoter. Okay, so it says about footpaths, etc., etc. I'm not going into details. It's quite a long checklist. Now here comes the building details. How many types of flats are available and what is the area? Project professional information, the CAs and the engineers.
Hello. You are
yes. Litigation details. Now on most pages, you will find the litigation page duly filled in. Okay. So now here we have some complaint details. So now we see, yes, there are litigations related to the project under the RERA, and they are listed over here. So we see 9 matters over here. Okay. And most of the matters, the orders have been passed in these 9 matters. So there could be other 9 or 19 or 90 matters which are under litigation. So 9 orders have already been passed over here. You can open this and you can have a look. You can view the orders.
Whatever. Redevelopment.
So this is how the order looks like. So again, I'm not getting into details, but of course, this again was an order which our firm had litigated on. So I'm now coming out of this page. So that's your registration. So anybody has any questions, you can jot it down and we can take it up at the end of the presentation. Then we have something known as non-registration. Now, why non-registration? Because RERA was, passing orders and only regulating projects which were under the RERA and not the ones which had escaped the ambit of RERA. So now I'll come to this later on, why we have this important new entry, new menu option, non-registration. So moving on to the next. This is very crucial from the customer-centric point of view, from the customer point of view, and that is how we make an online application. Now, I want you all to pay attention over here because this is very, very important. So you want to file a complaint. So you go into this online application, takes you onto a new page altogether. So here you have a username and password. So of course we have a lot of matters which are there under the RERA. So we will put in our username. And we'll put in a password. Now this will open into our matters. So I will just take you through some of them. So you have an idea of how a case actually looks online. So now again, hats off to RERA because this particular institution is the only institution which is 100% online when it comes to even the adjudication part. All the hearings are done online. The documents from both sides, the respondent side as well as the petitioner side, are uploaded online. So each party can view the other person's documents. Stage-wise development of a matter is also online. So, and because it's a new court, like it will complete 4 years now in 2021. So because it's a new court, they had the advantage of putting everything online, the best IT infrastructure ever possible. So there you are. Now we see your complaint number, complaint application status. That means have you paid the court fee or no? So this comes over here. Payment status of the court fee. Hearing date. You have hearing dates are put over here. So you can see some of the matters hearing dates. The last hearing dates are there. The orders are also over here now. The order which I opened in the Bougainvillea site is also linked in over here. You can see the orders are the same orders over here. Then you see the Roznama, which gives you a record of the proceedings of that particular date that happened in the court.
Then, are all the orders there which are passed, like they are on NFRA site? All the orders which are passed, are they uploaded on this?
Yes, this is our firm's page. All the orders which are passed by RERA. Yes, they're online.
Take out your form. This is RERA site, right?
Yeah, this is the RERA site.
So all orders are posted.
Yes, 100%.
Like NFRA site, all the orders are. So how many orders are there on the site as of now? How many hundred?
would be thousands. I mean, beyond 10, 15, 20,000. God alone knows.
Oh, this is a really delight. This is really delightful.
The numbers would be huge.
Oh, this is really delightful. So many orders are available. So there is a high level of transparency.
100%. It is 100%. Any field you pick up, RERA, MahaRERA is complied 100%.
So in the next part of the series, we can discuss some 1 or 2 particular orders for just about 3-4 minutes.
We'll do this now only. It'll take only
today. Limited time is there. Harish Madan has joined. He is waiting.
Okay.
But we will certainly do specific cases which we can share. We can decide before, which doesn't give undue promotion to the builder. Clearly, yeah.
Correct. So this is the orders. Now, order I've already shared with you, but I will just open.
In fact, we can classify orders as the good, the bad, and the ugly. That is the whole part of it. So that one can do. We have the best people from rating agencies also, and then we'll classify some orders. One order the good, one the bad, one the ugly.
Okay. Now here we have. If you see the complaint number over here, it says 005. This is all matters which we have in Pune. And this is 006 is Mumbai. So that also is very clearly visible. The nomenclature is very clear. So you know exactly what you are doing. And then you have, if there's an appeal which has been raised in any of the matters. Now you can see here, there's an appeal raised over here in 78977. There's an appeal which is raised over here in 438. So you can see that the appellate is also linked over here. Okay, so now I'm just clicking onto this. So you see that there is an appeal which is raised. It directly goes into the appeal now over here. You can see that. Okay, so we'll get into this later. You can see the appeal also, which is filed by both parties, or both parties, or either party.
Any orders passed by appellate authority, are they also posted?
Yes, of course. Yes, we'll come to that as well. I'll take you to that site as well. Since you're showing so much of interest, it would be wonderful to go into that appellate side as well. So here you can see the MahaRERA orders. And if the parties have filed an appeal, you can see 2 appeals over here. Okay. Now we come to something known as upload documents. Now I mentioned, I've used the word evolutionary 3 or 4 times. And in every respect and in all aspects, MahaRERA is completely evolutionary. This is a new menu option which they had started recently, around 6 to 8 months, where both parties could upload documents of each other. So before a hearing, suppose the hearing is tomorrow or day after or 1 week from now, you can upload your written submissions. You can upload new evidence on record. You can upload whatever new developments have happened. Everything can be uploaded. So you can imagine the importance MahaRERA is giving to developments in a particular case. So this is a very important option which has been started. And the best thing is that both parties can view each other's documents. So let me see if I can find something over here. Okay, so there are so many documents over here which are uploaded from our side. You can see arguments, exhibits, who are the people who are taking part over here, written submissions. Let's see if the opponent has also put in some exhibits over here. Okay. So here the opponent has not put anything so far. Okay. So this is about the application.
Archana would like to say something.
Yes, Archana.
Yeah, Anil, I just want to say that this is like phenomenal, and whether this kind of transparency can also be replicated in the other courts, because I believe in, say, consumer court or any other
in the deputy registrar's office also.
Yeah, yeah, because it is really very tiresome, to. As they say in the older times, like one should never climb up the stairs of a court as far as possible.
Now you don't have to. Everything is online, and MahaRERA is 100% online code, so you don't have to climb any stairs.
Anil, Archana, put your video on. That's very essential. And Anil, I will just say in this summit, which is called the Finance, Capital Market and Home Summit, you have done more than good justice to the topics already.
This is just 1%
already
of what
the way you have done
is
it,
all about.
and really online, it's totally approach. This is which I had suggested for the tax series also. Anurag Nima, ICAW, has been doing it across the center and north, with global experiences. He is doing live on this. The way you have done it, a slight twist has happened. The number of slides are not important because it's a series. But the way it has been articulated, it's really, really, really wonderful. one can keep on navigating a site of this, which will be at par with the company you mentioned, which has Indian CEO. And all practical issues can be really taken up while the site is on. In fact, even the cooperative society, even the BMC site also, I believe in future, if you can show. And the RTI site also, how RTI online can be done at the national level and at the Maharashtra level. And there are so many even members of professional bodies who are signing bogus balance sheets in the series, good, bad, and ugly. So that can also be done, how to file RTIs online just by paying 15 rupees and get acknowledgement, right? Online RTIs are getting more response. So this is really, really wonderful, the format. And authentic format, really.
Right. I will now take you on to something more, and that is known as the complaint details. Suppose now I click onto the list of complaint. Now this is just
wonderful.
One of our accounts.
This is the heart of it.
Yeah.
Every homeowner or home or tenant or occupier, even who has one bed only in 3 people, 4 people are sharing, even it's useful for everybody.
Right. So now this site actually shows you the details of the complainant. It shows the details of the respondent, the documents that have been uploaded. So for example, if I pick up just one of them, like for example, complainant. So this is how the details look. Okay, you have all the details over here down. Then this is how the details of the respondent look over here. You can see the details I've uploaded down. Everything is there, the address and all. And this is how a complaint actually looks like: facts of the case, grounds, reliefs, and interim reliefs. So you see the entire complaint is broken down into the 4 major parts, the 4 major areas of any complaint. And that is facts of the case, then the grounds, why this facts of the case and the facts of and the points of law have to merge. So grounds, then you have the reliefs that you seek under RERA. You have to articulate your reliefs very specifically over here. And interim relief, for example, before the final orders are passed, if you need any interim relief, so that also is over here. So you can see the thought process which has gone behind creating this website. It is so detailed, it is so intrinsic. Like, I love the phrase which advertisers always use: God is in the details. So I feel if you get into the details over here, everything is highlighted very well. So this is how a complaint actually looks. For example, if I take you on site of a complaint. So this is how we upload the complaint. Okay, it's a very simple Word format. That's it. No rocket science to it. So now I shall exit this. Now I shall take you to another page which Manoj sir has highlighted the interest on, and that is the appellate tribunal. You can see over here. So here, this is the cause list which is uploaded over here. So you see one of the cause lists over here. Now something very interesting we'll see. You can see all the details of all the matters. Now everything here is in the public domain, and this is yesterday's cause list. So you can see the matters which are listed under the appellate as well. So there's some 13 pages over here, and the number of matters is close to 66. That's huge. Okay, so that's a lot of numbers which the appellate is hearing per day. So a lot of respect for that. Okay, so that's
wonderful work being done by RERA.
Every level, the amount of ownership that the stakeholders have taken is amazing. Everybody is doing 100% and beyond, and that is the result why we have these 2 important institutions, the appellate tribunal and the authority. So you can see how
so when the global agencies know about this site, I wonder they are not looked at it. The in ease of doing business, the rating for India will go up many notches higher. I'm sure.
Yes, and I will give a testimony on that as well.
But all the other states need to do it, and union territories also, because they rank the states also. But if all do it, then it's not days not far away when India will be number 1 or top 5 in ease of doing business. But we have entered the top 50 already.
Right. Now, sir, you asked me one important question: whether the orders are online. Now, that comes under your downloads, Maharashtra. So you see all the rulings by RERA are over here. So you can search for complainant name wise, you can search respondent wise, You can search if you have a complaint number, then you can search it that way. You can search.
Here, these are not practical issues. We'll take a few views of some eminent panelists and participants. But there are lots of people who are getting threats and all. So, what is the effectiveness? Any experiences you have, or you still encourage people should go on the site and file a complaint?
See,
complaint recorded.
See, it's very important.
Without going to any professional and paying their fees, you know, whether that is a good thing to do. That
yes, why not? Why not?
Also, people
why
say
not?
we are not afraid. People say we are not afraid. Huh?
Correct.
Let us do it. IPBI also a portal is there, but this seems to be far better.
Correct. So why not? Definitely, if you have all the data, if you have all the information, you know the process flow, how to file a complaint, what are the important key areas that you have to fill in, definitely you can approach the RERA directly as well. Whenever you approach a professional, probably an advocate, he will help you just streamline your entire complaint.
No, that's okay.
And, so you can definitely approach directly. Yes,
that's
you
okay.
can.
As a citizen, have you been bullied or threatened by any person directly or indirectly?
Till today, I've only received compliments.
Or not by either by builders or other people directly?
Never.
Okay,
never,
you are a young person, lots of way to go. And some senior people shared about IBC also. Huh?
Okay.
What happens, you know, ultimately there are different types of promoters. But I'm glad that you had a good, pleasant experience. Huh? And anybody else would like to share views? Mr. Hemant, are you there? You have deep insights on real estate. Jayesh Bhai wants to join. M. Ramesh. Are you there? I think.
I am still here. So
no, you are there, Anil. I can. M. Ramesh, Hemant, Jayesh Bhai, because they have good insights on actual core real estate and finance issues. Are they muted or they can hear? I believe they are there, no? Harish Madan, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi. This is Harish. Hi.
Yeah, hi. Some thoughts on this home buyers and finance. And M. Ramesh, I think you are also there. M. Ramesh had good insights on rating agencies also. And Hemant, if we can share, then we can move forward to the next one. And Anil, you can address those issues. Then remaining we can take part and do in a special series, a much longer one.
Okay.
Maybe you can take more than an hour also the way you're going about it. Huh? It's really wonderful. Just finalize the date along with Archana.
No problem.
But so, you address all the issues raised by Hemant, Ramesh, Harish. Huh? I have many more. So let's take the key important ones related to this first.
Right.
Harish?
So
Harish?
yes. Close this.
Your video was on.
Hello, am I audible?
Archana, put your video on also. M. Ramesh.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Hemant Bhai also, and if Jayesh Bhai is on, yeah.
I mean, regarding the ratings, I mean.
We are talking about home. We are talking about home. The presentation which Anil has been doing.
Yeah. So my question is regarding the ratings of the projects that typically rating agencies do, and just wanted to understand from Anil. One of the critical aspects that ratings look at is whether the money is raised for the project is kept within ring fenced and kept within for the project itself. I think one of the key objectives of RERA itself is to ensure that the money is not diverted.
Yes,
so I wanted to understand how well it has been implemented.
100% compliance, because you have to open an escrow account, like you saw on the project page, the page of the project itself. The bank was mentioned, the IFSC code was mentioned. So the monies have to be kept in an escrow account. Point number one. Point number two, the money can only be withdrawn phase-wise as per the stage of completion. So there has to be a certificate from the architect as well as the engineer and the chartered accountant. So both of them have to furnish their certificates, which will accompany every demand letter that is served upon the flat purchaser. So they will authenticate that this phase of the project is completed. So itna paisa nikal sakte hain. So that's how the whole and this much money can be demanded from the flat purchaser. So this is mandatory under RERA. There is a section on that, which was of course one of the slides. But yes, to answer your question, it's 100%.
Is there a possibility that the money collected by way of advances from flat buyers is not brought within this escrow account itself?
See, at this point of time, since RERA has come in from June 2017, MahaRERA has tried its best to regulate the entire system. And to a great extent, they have been successful. But whatever monies were collected before, or the 100, 2,000 and 20,000 ways that this was being done, now efforts are being made to regularize that part as well. So yes, to answer your question, 80% of streamlining has happened. 15-20% will still be that ongoing and what do you call that, Pareto analysis, 20-80, 80-20. But yes, the focus is also on the 20%, not losing focus on the 80% which has come under the ambit of.
Sure, I think that answers my question. Thank you very much.
Thank Hemant, you are there. I think you have and if you can just share your views.
Manoj, unfortunately, Mr. Jayesh has been, he's busy in some other meeting.
Next time you have a commitment. Next time, not 10 minutes. You have to make him commit 30 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. And very good presentation, Mr. Anil.
Thank you, sir.
Really, indeed, it has, clarified so many things. Just wanted to ask regarding that COVID period, whether there is a suo motu exemption for COVID period for any builder, or he has to apply and then take that period for extension of the project.
No, there has been a suo motu extension for project completion. Yes, it has happened and it has been extended as well. So now there has been an extension up to 30th of June 2021. So yes, to answer your question, RERA has taken that stand, considering the current situation, how it is. So yes, RERA is, like I said, adjudication part is there, but definitely the regularization part is also there. So RERA does extend its support to both sides of the balance, the flat purchasers as well as the promoters.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Anil.
Thank you,
sir. And Hemant, you have a wonderful backdrop on this Finance Capital Market Home Summit. There are lots of home behinds and greenery also. I wonder, is
it's my private terrace.
Oh, residence. Oh, wonderful. And this is an excellent backdrop. It is home and also the good FSI also being used outside. Next time, I think Anil can share how FSI calculations are done. So maximum benefits can be done for self-development. Harish, Madan, we saw you. Harish?
Yeah, hi.
One perspective from you on home for foreign investors and FDI coming. Can you give insights on that? What is the potential of getting at the current foreign exchange rate? And then you start your insights on Forex and market updates as a continuity. Right?
Okay. So first thing is, I think the government, just give a little larger perspective. India needs a lot of money. And the one fact is government does not have that money where it can spend. So what it's trying to do is it's trying to invite foreign players do come and invest. For that, they are changing all these ceilings where the FDI can come in, can invest in. Now, the very first thing that India need is affordable housing, because there are cities like Mumbai where people even don't have first house and the house prices are so expensive. So they're moving toward affordable housing and allowing companies, housing finance companies, so that they can raise foreign currency funds, low cost funds, can use it. So from that perspective, it is a very good thing from the government, because they understand that they cannot do everything. So on that perspective, I would say there is a lot of potential in that. I hope that a lot of, and not only from the small housing, but also from, if you look at India growth story, which is some people say, oh, it is still have to see the green shoot. But what I believe, maybe there are many people who may differ from that perspective. I would see the government, the kind of steps they are taking, the result are definitely not visible, but if they're executed well, that will put India to a long-term sustainable growth. When we're looking at long-term sustainable growth, of 5 years, 7 years, or 8 years horizon, India needs a lot of infrastructure. Either you see from the perspective of commercial buildings, or from the housing, both sides. So it requires a lot of infrastructure and a lot of money. And I think that is where the FDI would continue to pour in. They see a lot of interest. So see, earlier there were money was coming in like where the companies were giving loans to the salaried people, which is a more considered safe and secured bet. But now if you look at a certain housing finance companies are coming up, which is a new generation, giving a small ticket loans, but to non-salaried people, basically a business people, small business houses. These are booming. So that is where I would say this is there's a large potentials for the FDA also. This is an opportunity. Manoj, what do you say?
I'll just say Harish is a director of a well-known global bank with office in BKC, now in work from home. And once Anil, if Harish is convinced about getting money inflows of NRIs and other non-NRIs also in homes in Maharashtra or India, not only millions of dollars, I'm sure billions of dollars can be mobilized if the issue of transparency is well communicated to the global citizens, which a process which you have done today. Harish, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you have not mentioned the name of your bank and your position and the size globally.
No, I work with the ICBC, so Industrial and Commercial Bank of China. It is virtually being a Chinese economy is largest, becoming very big and having a largest share in this import and export. So virtually their banks are also very big. And I hope eventually Indian banks would also become like a very, very big bank as our economy will grow.
Maybe Indian investors can take over the bank one day, and Anil can really ensure the Indian home market or Maharashtra home market attracts more FDI 100 times which the other rival countries do, right, Anil?
Yeah, that's true. And of course, I had the privilege of visiting Shanghai and Beijing some time back, and I was really amazed at what the Chinese, how they have kept their cities, and it was amazing. Shanghai was totally
no, sir. India is better. Mumbai is far better.
101%. But of course, we have to respect the efforts that they have also taken. So amazing, and I'm very happy.
Have to respect 100 times more our effort. It's 200%. It's very clear. It's India
200% on that.
Manoj, just want to say yes, definitely. We should feel proud to be Indian, but then we should also learn from others how to maintain and to
everybody, every global citizen,
best practices
who are learned from the Indian Cosmos Universe.
Best practices.
Aishwari is there. Aishwari, our young
yes, Mr. Gupta
global
is there,
citizen.
yes. Yeah,
Aishwari, your video is on.
Yeah, he's there. I can see him.
Yeah, I am here.
Put your video on. Your thoughts on the wonderful, delightful presentations being done by all the lead presenters. Anil is here and Harish is also there. And you are a young banker and a startup guy. So your take on Harish, I know you always look at foreign exchange rates, dollar and rupee every day. Ask Harish some tough questions. And Anil, you can ask some soft questions when you come to Bombay in May. At the time, we'll connect and then you ask him tough questions. Right?
So, the sessions were wonderful. So I had very little knowledge about RERA before this, but definitely all the details that you have told in, that's really very good and insightful. So it's very good to come to this platform and enhance my knowledge always. Every time there is something new that is coming in. And one thing like that I wanted to ask, so soon I'll be moving to Mumbai itself. So it's very good to know a lot of about the city itself before I move out and go there. So that is there, that is absolutely there. And one thing that I wanted to ask was like, whatever RERA projects or whatever investments that are happening there, so is it compliance, this compliance is for all the builders, or there are some people that are exempted from this? Is there something like that?
See, first and foremost, like I mentioned to you, the stipulation of registration. So there are people who do not have to register because their development area is less than 500 square meters and also less than 8 units. So they don't have to. And plus, if you have a completion certificate, so they don't have to. But interestingly, yes, Mr. Gupta, a lot of people above 500, above 8 units, and those who do not have a completion certificate, they also have not registered. So we do get a lot of complaints. We filed more than 600 cases in RERA as of now. We come across a lot of projects which are still not registered. So what do advocates do then in that case? So there is something known as a source complaint. RERA itself entertains complaints on unregistered projects. So that is one authority that we address this. There is also an existing authority known as the consumer courts. So these matters can go to the consumer courts as well. And also cheating and misrepresentation form part of white collar crimes. So the option of going to the police and filing an FIR and filing a complaint over there, and to get it addressed, we can also do a CMM complaint, that is a magistrate's complaint. That also can be done. So yes, there are ways of addressing the unregistered part as well. So there are these three methods which we have, the three options open to answer your question under the adjudication part. Yes. Okay. And at the same time, we keep telling RERA also that look, so and so projects are still not registered, and RERA gives you a very patient hearing, and then we go through all the documents of that particular project. We have more than 8 to 10 complaints as such. We do. That's a good question. I like that.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Aishwari, no conversation on Forex can be over without a rupee-dollar rate. Either you ask, then I'll supplement. Harish, Madan?
We have been like seeing something like in US, if we are talking about US, so what is happening is a lot of dollar printing is happening, and that is something which is getting the economy into an hyperinflation mode, whereby like they're trying to replicate that World War II scenario, whereby they inflate the dollar rates to such an extent that the debts that are there in dollar seem to be almost negligent, and that is what they're trying
Harish, your views on this dollar rate? I believe it is market determined. Harish?
Yeah, yes, dollar rates.
Nobody can inflate dollar rates.
You want me to answer on the US side, or you want me to talk on
that's
India
the
side?
rate, rupee dollar rate, because it is always market determined. Nobody can inflate or deflate.
Okay.
Your views, because you are a Forex guy and you are a director in a foreign bank.
Okay, dollar rupee at this point of time, it is there are 2-3 factors which impact. One is a global factor, what is happening across, and the second is what is India specific factor. Now, if you look at the global factors, which is like talking about US is printing money. Yes, that is a fact. US is printing money, and they have come up with the $1.7 trillion package to stimulate the economy. So that is true, but there's one aspect that need to understand. US economy or dollar is a global currency, and it is a base currency. So for them, it is like for US, dollar is a local currency. They can print as much they want. Okay, though they're running with the deficit, which we are talking about, fiscal deficits and all, but still their country is AAA rated country. Now, if that would have been scenario with India, we would have been bankrupt. Okay, so that is only reason is because the world is financing US debt, the kind of fiscal deficit US is running. On the second part, whenever there is fear globally, market money moves towards safe haven. And what is a safe haven is gold, US dollar, and US treasuries. So if you look at, if you closely track dollar, when in March, when the crisis started, US dollar index moved even above 100, which indicates a very, very strong dollar index. Now, that means the money is started flowing from emerging markets to the developed market, and US treasury yield rallies. They have rallied. It has almost come up below 1%. So 0.8 and 0.7% was the lowest yield in 10 years US yield, and gold has moved up. So if you look at, so these are the safe haven. So whenever the crisis comes, all safe haven assets will grow, and all emerging market and risky assets will fall in prices. So we have seen in March, Indian rupee has tumbled because dollar index has risen, rupee has, and secondly, our equities market, or not only ours, but emerging equity markets. So with that theme, rupee also depreciated, and there was a talk which I shared last week also. It was people were talking about $80 and it will move beyond 80. So there would be a crisis, there would be a rate hikes in India. So those kind of scenarios would happen. Now, because this was purely a global scenario, and in the past history, how RBI and the government had tackled those kind of situation, on that basis, people were linearly correlating that it will move towards 75, 78 or 80 will touch. There would be rate hikes from the RBI. But then move to this local factor. Now, very first factor is our externals are pretty strong at this moment. In this crisis, our externals, our foreign currency reserves have risen by more than $100 billion. And we have more than 12 times of our import cover, which was in 2012-13, when this taper tantrum happened, where the US started winding up its quantitative easing. That time we were having around 3 to 4 months import cover. So that has given a cushion. So India's externals are pretty strong. Apart from that, government, as I mentioned just before, because government is taking steps where they are allowing investors to come and invest in India. They are hiking the ceiling of FDIs. They are opening new sectors across. Defense is one of the sector where they have opened up. So money is flowing into India. Third is because when these are the two factors, and third factor, whenever there is certain stability globally, where the vaccine has rolled out, Biden has come in, now the certainty about the governance as well as vaccine rollout. Again, we have seen equity flows started coming into India. So again, dollar has come. So now these two events, if you put it, so both are countering each other. So
Hemant, hand is up. Hemant, co-founder of VIVEKPATRA. Can you also share some insights on your experience with NRI investors? Because that Forex is involved. And then Aishwari, get your presentation, VIVEKPATRA presentation on blockchain ready. You can put it on screen. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Manoj, in fact, I had query in respect to Mr. Anil D'Souza's presentation.
Anybody, and your thoughts on NRI investors, because foreign exchange is involved. Topic
but I have a little bit of experience in NRI investment, so I would not comment upon it. But anyhow, I would like to ask a question to Mr. Anil D'Souza. If there is a redevelopment project and if number of units are a new unit, I can say, existing units are definitely, total units will be more, including old tenants. But if there are new tenants who are, the developer is developing for a new house, in addition to the accommodation to existing dwellers, are less than 8, whether they need to get it registered.
See, there are two aspects of redevelopment projects. One is the part where the existing tenants are housed probably in a building or probably in a composite building where, the new flat purchasers are also there. So new buildings, redevelopment buildings, when there is a sale component, that definitely has to be registered under RERA. But if the building is separate, for example, the redevelopment people are going to be in one particular structure, then that building need not be registered under RERA, because there is no sale happening there. There is no transaction happening there. There is no promotion, marketing, advertising, nothing is happening. But yes, if it is a building which has the old tenants as well as the new flat purchasers, probably floor wise or something like that, then the entire project has to be registered under RERA. It has to be.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Aishwari, the cover slide, be truthful, and then the blockchain VIVEKPATRA. And when you put it on, Archana will explain for us once again what is VIVEKPATRA. Many people are asking. And when you put on that slide. Aishwari, then she will share in her own inimitable style.
Sure, I'll just share the slide.
About Sanskrit, also the heritage.
So for blockchain.
Cover slide.
Okay, sorry.
Manoj sir, I just had a small question for Anil.
Just yeah, this is it. Yeah. Let it this screen be on when you for questions for anybody. Yeah.
Hello, Manoj sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a small question for Anil with regard to the clarification he gave pertaining to the redevelopment. Because Anil, you have said that if it is a composite project and there are tenants and sale as well.
Purchases,
So the project which is for the tenants need not be registered. So
if they are separate buildings.
Correct. If they are separate buildings, so does that not expose the tenants to delays in projects, and they don't have any authority to go to if the project is not registered? For example, if there is a project comprising of tenants and consumers, other consumers, and the builder cleverly does not register the tenants project because it's a separate building, neglects it because he's not going to get much out of it, and then he builds up on the sale portion and harps on that. So what do you think is the redressal mechanism for the tenants in such a case, because their project, which is their building is totally a separate building? What would be the redressal mechanism?
See, RERA, correct. Thank you, Archana. That was a very important and interesting question. The prior to RERA came in March, June 2017, May 1st, 2017 was the date was established, and the litigation part started on the 1st of June 2017. So prior to this, there is a very strong judiciary, there is a very strong redressal mechanism already in place. So RERA has added value to the adjudication mechanism. So there are civil courts, there is a consumer court which is functioning excellently. The Bombay High Court is there. So there's always, these options were available at that point of time prior to 1st of June 2017, and it's available even now. So RERA has added value to the new flat purchasers section alone. So the new flat purchasers who've been getting into agreement, who are not getting their flats on time, they are going on putting money into the project, but there is no end in sight. So RERA has come to address these issues primarily, because this is again a huge ocean of litigants who had no system where their issues could be addressed, because they were getting lost in that huge pool of litigation. So RERA was established with this primary objective in mind. So the new flat purchases come here, but the redevelopment issues, yes, they have to take their matters into the redressal mechanism, which is already in place and which is effective. So they have to take their matters to civil courts. The Bombay High Court is definitely there. So the judiciary addresses all these issues as well. So RERA is addressing a separate issue. Again, in its totality, it's a huge domain altogether.
And Nipun Mehta, co-founder of the VIVEKPATRA, has been actually watching quite keenly on YouTube. Is he here now? He can add his thoughts. And Aishwari would start his thing soon. Yeah, Archana, your thoughts on VIVEKPATRA, if you can explain in your own inimitable way.
Yeah, thank you, Manoj.
What is Vivek, what is Patra, and how it can inspire everybody, every global citizen? And it is very clear, Sandeep has clearly put it, governance. And we always thought governance is all about ethics and integrity. Everything, all are subsets of it. Yeah. Be truthful is what I think one of the co-founders added, right? After hearing you last time.
Great. Thank you, Manoj sir. Thank you for this honor for explaining what the VIVEKPATRA is all about.
Actually, you have to explain to us. We had the honor last time, and just tell us again.
Yeah. So the word Vivek is a Sanskrit word, and what it means is the ability to choose between right and wrong. It means using your wisdom to determine what is right, what is wrong. Okay. and use your Vivek means use your wisdom and intelligence to decide the right path. So as a child, my mother always used to say, use your Sat Sat Vivek Buddhi. Sat Sat Vivek Buddhi is nothing but having the knowledge to determine what exactly is the correct path and what is the between two things or between a number of things, which is the right way of doing the things. So that is a short and sweet interpretation. Well, it is open to interpretation and many people can have many views, but this is what is I feel about it. And this is a great newsletter for everyone, wherein wherein all the sites are linked at one place and the latest developments are listed over there. So yeah.
Wonderful. And Anil, it's your privilege. You have become a co-founder of the VIVEKPATRA on the right day and right time.
Yeah, I think over to Manoj sir now.
Aishwari, blockchain part of VIVEKPATRA.
Sure. Basically, what is happening?
There is something on insurance also. After that, we will cover as a part of the update. There is one chart which came from the IRDA site, I believe.
Okay. So basically, when we talk about blockchain across the globe, there has been a lot of movement across the globe, and particularly in India. If we want to see about blockchain in India, what is happening is there has been a lot of news hype cycles that have been created, that it is going to be banned, it is illegal, and all those things. But every news cycle has one thing in common, which where they use the word as probability. So there is nothing in India which says that these kinds of any blockchain incorporation or anything related to cryptocurrencies has been banned. There was a circular that was circulated in 2018 by the RBI, which said that they would stop banks from dealing with such entities or encashing their money from the bank accounts. But this was kept aside in the last year by the Supreme Court, by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, in last year, March 2020. Since then, in the month of January 2021, there was a bill that was tabled in, which said that they are going to propose something which is going to be regulating something on the cryptocurrencies, and the government itself is going to bring in something called its own CBDC. Now, what is a CBDC? A CBDC is something which is a central bank digital currency. So China has incorporated it, and they are now moving to the next step. We as in India, we are proposing to launch our own CBDC. The name of that currency is going to be Lakshmi. RBI is working on it. And when we talk about both the things, what is happening is both the things are completely separate things. Cryptocurrencies not only are just something which is just to exchange money or to work as a fiat equivalent. No, it is not. There is a lot of misconception which says that cryptocurrencies are completely fiat equivalent, which is not true. And a lot of use cases are there for cryptocurrencies as well, and based on which a lot of industry people who are there in the blockchain industry, they are trying to tell in. Very recently, Infosys co-founder, he also went in and said that this is something which the government should be looking at regulating instead of banning it. He said that there's a lot of potential that is there. He said that he has been very much in a part of the Indian growth story. He has been there when Aadhaar was incorporated, when UPI was incorporated, and his only contention, he said that the number of transactions that UPI is aiming is around 1 billion transactions a day per day, which is very much more than what a blockchain or a cryptocurrency can accomplish, where the transaction per speed is like 14-15 transactions per second. So it's not something which is going to be coming in as a mode of currency or as a medium of exchange. But yes, there are a lot of projects that it's like cryptocurrencies most probably are kind of a backbone of all the decentralized or all the projects that are coming in on blockchain. So that is something that is going on, and there are a lot of developments that are going in. So recently, SBI partnered with JP Morgan. JP Morgan has a product that has been developed in-house, which is like a competitor to the Swift technology that is being used since last 40 days. And based on which, what they're trying to do is they're trying to move, or they're trying to create a system whereby what will happen is the movement of funds that is going to happen along with the passage of messages through the cryptocurrency technology that is there. blockchain, overall blockchain technology. So SBI is already there. Last year, HDFC Bank in the month of November, they partnered with Ripple to move cross-border payments. And currently, I cannot disclose the names of the company right now, but senior bank people who are there, who are in various esteemed positions in the banks, they're also looking at adopting such solutions to make their processes very fast, compliant. So as per the Indian perspective, government is also doing a lot of things on the blockchain perspective. If we talk about the World Health Organization, the COVID vaccination, they have tried to issue certificates on the blockchain technology itself. So all the certificates that are being issued after you get your COVID vaccination in Telangana, they have fully incorporated it. So if you're belonging from Telangana, your certificate is on blockchain and network. Then the second thing that the government is focusing on is insurance for the agriculture. That is their government, along with I think World Economic Forum and World Bank. They're trying to create something whereby when a crop is insured for a farmer, what will happen is if the crop is destroyed, based on satellite information which we will take from our own ISRO, based on that, the payment based on that, ISRO will identify that a piece of land where there has been no rainfall or where the crop has been destroyed, and from ISRO itself they will take the satellite view of that particular place, and through which the payments will be automated in a way where if a crop is deserted or if a crop is destroyed, automatic payments start to flow in. So that is another second thing that the government is working on the blockchain technology. And the third is land registry. So we, like Anilji told us a lot about the RERA thing. So a lot of certification that is opening, so that whether the land is originally belonging to which person. I believe a lot of cases are pending in the courts just because of ownership issues, that who is the actual owner of a particular land, and there are land mafias. There are a lot of people who are there in this particular industry who are trying to grab in the lands. Even so many people trying to.
Oh, then Ajita did not know.
So what is happening is, because of this particular reason, government is working on it. In the Haryana government has tried to put in a lot of efforts. So all these things are working in, whereby we are curating and we are working on blockchain technology, and we are trying to address a lot of things. In the global scenario, if I talk a little bit, so in the global scenario, there have been in the cryptocurrency world, particularly there in Canada, there have been 3 funds which have already applied for an ETF, and there are 8 more funds in you can say US, which have sent in their proposals to SEC for probably going ahead and registering themselves for ETF facilities, so that retail investors can get into investing in cryptocurrency. So there is a report that has been included here, Bitcoin bubble or anti-bubble. So because of the global paradigm, what is happening is, if we talk about the depreciation of the purchasing power of a dollar bill, from 1920, it has almost reached less than 12%. So if whatever the value of $1 was in 1920 versus the value of dollar today has reduced significantly. And because of the unlimited printing, so $1.9 trillion that has already come into the market, is coming to the market. There is another proposal that has been tabled yesterday in the White House about bringing in $3 trillion more into the economy. That means already more than 22% of the circulating money is already there in the economy of US dollars. Another 1.9 trillion and another $3 trillion that are coming into the market. So those are the things based on which people are trying to move away from a little bit and taking the safe havens like gold. And they're also considering sometimes cryptocurrencies as also a safe haven to invest their money right now. So you're Manoj, so you're talking on mute.
Wonderful insights on $3 trillion coming soon. I wonder when the White House will clear it. Can we have the last slide, Aishwari?
Yeah, sure.
Last one.
This one?
No, the last. Yeah, which has your name on it.
Okay.
Yes, this is it. Wonderful contributions made by so many. And somebody wrote a big thanks. There are many more people. But they have to send a slide, and they will be included, right? And we have to ensure they are people of ethics and integrity. I see lots of good names, many more things coming. Can we go to that insurance table?
Before we go to the insurance table, I just wanted to ask Aishwarya.
You can do, but just show the table. You can change the slide, just show the table. And then Sandeep, you can talk on blockchain also. Just show the table, insurance table. Let people read it. That's very important.
Which one?
Insurance table.
No, before that, you go prior to your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. Now Sandeep, your thoughts on blockchain, Bitcoin, insurance.
The only thing which has completely changed. And thank you, Aishwarya, for giving us your thoughts on Bitcoin again. And the most important thing which I'm looking at, and this is the first time when we are on the blockchain technology aspect. The thing which I have a feeling, and that's very important, is that Microsoft, which had never been hacked earlier, from the point of view, the OneDrives and the other things, was hacked recently with some 60,000 people being, having been affected. And we need to actually seriously think of what blockchain technology is. And I'm not sure whether, people know what really blockchain technology is. Aishwarya, is it possible to actually throw some light on that?
So definitely, I can give you a small brief. So basically, like the news that you just shared, after that, if you will see, within 2 days, they have launched their project on blockchain itself, whereby they are moving the cross-border funds on blockchain itself. So blockchain is a technology where the biggest problem that we have in today's world is centralized servers. So let's assume I am a centralized server and everyone wants to hack me. So what the problem is, everyone is focusing their energy just towards me. So at that point of time, what will happen is, if every energy is focused on me, so cracking or hacking into that centralized database becomes easy. But what happens in a blockchain environment, whatever the data is there or whatever the things are there, they're stored in a decentralized format. So if you hack, let's say, my centralized servers, and then you can make amendments, or you can modify things, and you can hamper things or delete things. But once a thing is put there on a particular blockchain in a particular block, it is encrypted, first thing. Second thing is, there are copies of it. So let's say, if I talk about Bitcoin, there are over 100,000 people who have copies of this particular data. So you can hack one person, you can hack 2%, you can hack 3%, but until and unless you hack more than 51% of the total people who have the data, till then it is not possible for you to modify the data, to edit the data, to delete the data. So everything that is happening, that happens on a legitimate way. And even if you try to hack in, whatever you are getting is there is no customer information. So if right now I want to share whatever the transactions are there, I can share with you, but you will never know who is that person until and unless you personally know them, or you personally know their blockchain addresses. So even if you hack it, there is no way you can get the data of those people.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Aishwarya. In fact, I just wanted to give you, people just a glimpse of what it might mean in simple terms. I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Aishwarya, because I'm not an expert on this. And this is something where, I've read it. I've just been trying to gain some knowledge on this. The technology actually is that when you put the aspect on blockchain technology, suppose there is a KYC of a particular person. Now, a particular person, you will have a KYC which it constitutes, first of all, you have your PAN card, you have your Aadhaar card, you might have your driving license, and so on. Now, what happens in blockchain technology is these are stored at different locations. It is not something where everything is, and that is exactly what I think Aishwarya was telling us. It's not at a centralized location that everything is gone. So all are at different locations, so that even if one place, God forbid, something happens and something is hacked, it is not really something which will harm the KYC for you. They won't get data for everything together. So it'll be completely decentralized, and plus it'll be encrypted, as Aishwarya has said.
So am I right in understanding this?
Correct. So what happens is, like, even if you see, I'll give you one, just give me a 1 second. I'll give you a demo. Just give me a 1 second. So if you see on the screen, this is something also adopted by what you can say as our GST portals as well. So let's say you want to save your Aadhaar card here. So what you are going to generate is basically, let's say if I want to save my data. So let's say my name is Aishwarya and I want to save my PAN number, whatever it is. So when I am doing that, let's say whenever I'm doing it, what happens in today's servers is this whole data gets into the server. So it is saved there. But when we talk about blockchain, this whole data is mostly in most of the blockchains, this data is not going into the server. This code is getting into the server. If you see below, hash. So if this hash is going into the server, what will happen is, let's say you hack it. What do you get? You get this hash. And how do you generate this hash? You can generate it by writing anything inside the data, but you cannot reverse build it, whereby what you can do is I'll give you a hash. So you go ahead and you create anything which is inside the data. So you hack it. Even if you hack it, what will happen? This is something whereby you will not be able to know what exactly is there in the data. So even if it is hacked, it is not something where you can get the data out. But it depends upon a lot of things as well. So even on blockchain, like I told you, there are various people who are constituting it. I'll not get into a lot of details, but like here, what is happening? So here, if you can see, there are 3 people who are maintaining the data. And that is what if I talk about Bitcoin, so all the data is stored in these blocks. Once these data is stored, let's say if I try to modify it, what will happen? You will see the hash that is there at the bottom. It's starting from 4 zeros, which is saying that the work has been performed on this block. So if I try to modify it, you will see the hash has changed. And now even if I try to mine it, it will not coincide. This data will not coincide with other miners' data. So if even after mining this, what will happen is, here, whatever the previous hash of the other data is there, you won't be able to copy this. So here, if you'll see, this is the original data that is there. Again, this is the original data that is there. You can see this hash is common. But now when if I go ahead and once this is mine, this hash will change. So automatically I will know that someone has tried to fiddle with my data and I will reject that data. So that is how it is.
That's really great. I think it gives you a perspective of, thanks a lot, Aishwarya. And
we have limited time now. We'll a few minutes on insurance, few minutes on IPO, then Mr. Udgata will come and share some thoughts on either blockchain or IPO or market. Then we have a fine grand finale by anybody who wants to.
Yeah, so this gives you, but I just wanted to talk about insurance from the point of view of what's really happening, in terms of the insurance sector as a whole. And this chart really gives you it gives you a perspective of each of the constituents that represent insurance as a sector. So from the fire insurance and the growth which has been taking place in a particular subsector. For example, fire has grown 10.57%. Marine has grown 60.69%. Engineering 18.34%, and so on. And the most important, if you look at it from the point of view of crop insurance, and and why are we saying India growth story all the time? Crop insurance, the government and Mr. Modi has been, consistently been telling people about agriculture and insuring their crops, and this is where the whole crux of the matter is. Crop insurance has grown 102.66%, though I would say the base has been small, but it's increasing, and it's coming in line with most of the other like fire. It's actually more than the fire insurance, so it has actually grown substantially. So this in short gives you the perspective of the insurance sector as a whole. I just wanted to give you a glimpse. The total, in fact, the total growth is about 14.21%. I would like to go and add in a slide prior to this, there's one circular which has been issued by the IRDA, which says that for COVID, for example, the COVID, I would say the COVID policies will continue to be issued till September 2021. So if anybody wants to actually go and take a COVID insurance, they would want to actually go to the insurance company. The insurance company has to actually provide you with the insurance for that. So that's been extended to this level to the 30th of September 2021. The other thing which I wanted to tell you is IRDA has also come out with a circular which says you can actually get your insurance policies digitally. So you need not actually get your car insurance through a, the form of a physical policy, but you can get it digitally through your insurance company. So that's one more outlook which you should have, and you should be able to understand and tell your insurance company to send it actually digitally.
Very good insights. I would like to add, I keep on interacting with lots of CEOs and board members of insurance companies. Just day before yesterday, I had a very good conversation with a former MD of New India, and who is also now, and also people who have been doing arbitration work on insurance and private insurance companies. And insurance is not only about risk management, but it can create huge value and wealth, as our experience with units of Berkshire Hathaway is. We know Berkshire Hathaway has got huge market cap, and most of the profits are driven by and good management of the insurance arm. Of course, with proper risk management, in times of disasters, they have to, pay out. But otherwise, they have consistent income, not only by way of premiums, but also by investing the premiums till the payouts are there in good, high quality investments if they are able to do. So that is the thing. And about insurance slides, the whole credit of it should go to our co-founder of VIVEKPATRA and the CFO Anupam. He has worked a lot to ensure that regular updates are given on insurance and from authentic sources. So this slides on insurance, Sandeep, it will grow, it will multiply. From one slide, it may become 72 or even more.
I'll be very happy with that.
Wonderful, and it can become, it's a evolving, innovative format Yogesh suggested. So one can keep on adding with every presentation, or even who are able to contribute a slide, but with authentic links. That's it. And maybe Subrat would come and have a few thoughts. Before that, I think since time is less, can we go on IPO SWOT?
Yeah, I think
finally, of course, call Subrat and everybody who is on a co-panelist to share final thoughts and contribute to VIVEKPATRA.
Can I have that?
You can use the same PPT, or you can share, but I think you can just
it will be the same PPT.
The page.
Aishwarya, you can actually go to the next slides. No, next slides actually. Yeah, you're okay. Here it is. In fact, this is a very interesting thing, which is I can't actually see. Okay. This is something which is there, which I had prepared yesterday and put it up for you.
Just, I believe it came today morning.
No, I think I had put the date as 2603. So that link is missing. I don't know why. It's okay. It doesn't make much of a difference.
It's the latest slide. It's the latest.
Just that whatever we had been saying all along on the IPOs and the risk attached to the IPOs in a market which is choppy, which is actually heading towards maybe, I don't know, I'm not saying that it might be a peak completely at the disclaimer. I would remind people of the disclaimers. What I wanted to actually tell you is, you look at what is happening in each of the IPOs. Harbana, which had actually gone up to 900, has come down to 629. Yesterday, I think it has gone up to about 680 again. MStar is the only one which is actually holding on, which went to 1155. It was 981 on Thursday, and yesterday it went up again over 1,000. Ease My Trip is approximately 180, and yesterday again it moved up to about 188 or 187. Anupam Rasayan has taken a hit where it is below the issue price. Craftsman again is below the issue price, and Lakshmi Organic, I would say, is the only one apart from MStar which is doing well. And I've also added the Kalyan Jewelers piece yesterday evening, and that's got listed around 75, and it closed at around 75, which is 10 rupees below the issue price. So you can see the perspective which we were looking at over the last 1 month, where the number of IPOs, all of a sudden there was a rush of IPOs trying to get hold of the investors to invest, and in all that that has happened is the prices have not reflected what is called the gray market price, which is the GMP, is what people have been talking about. So we now have to look at Nazara Technologies as well as Suryodaya. So let's see what happens coming forward, or rather going forward. Let's go to the next slide, and that's the next real IPO, which is already off the mark. Actually, it started off on the 24th. The IPO closing date is the 26th. Now the issue here is that the price has been fixed at 498 to 500. And if you look at the financials of the company, you would be surprised to know that they have been making losses. Why would a company which is making losses have such a premium on their price? Is something which you might be thinking about. I would say there are two factors. Can you go to the next slide, please? In fact, in the previous slide, you had the anchor investors who have invested, and sorry, the next slide, please. The anchor investors had invested, and there have been a lot of anchor investors which are good. That has actually held the price together. What happens after post listing is something which we need to be looking out for, and the only reason why Barbecue Nation has been moving up, or rather has that premium over the other peers, except for Jubilant, is the brand name which is attached to this the restaurants, the chain of restaurants. What is really happening is, it is value for money is what people think it is. The quality has been maintained, and that is one of the reasons why you'll see that people are, you have repeat people going there repeatedly, and that's one of the reasons why these guys have been doing well. So Barbecue Nation has been doing well. But what is happening? You see the RHP from page 16 to 45, and you'll see. I'm sorry, this is the old. I would like the new. Can you share me the can you allow me sharing, please?
Yeah, you can do it now. I'll stop it.
Hello, I can't hear you.
Hey, you can do it now.
Here it is. In fact, what I was telling you was I had made some changes. There were a couple of, I was myself confused on why the RHPs were having dates of 2017. Thereafter, I saw that there have been quite a few revisions of the RHP, and that's one of the reasons why you would see the changed numbers here. Page 37 to 81 is what the RHP is reflected. The risk factors which one would look at is the COVID situation. Of course, if you look at the financials in this during this year, you will see a complete drop of the amounts in terms of revenues as well as the profitability. And here it is. If you see what has happened, you would see that in the period of 31st of March 2020, the revenue, the total revenue was 850 crores, whereas for the period of 30th of November 2020, the total revenues are only 237 crores. So it's a complete drop in terms of revenues, whereas the profit after tax has been a negative of 100 crores. So, like I said, the issue of COVID has really impacted the company. That's the first one. The second point is in terms of internal control, and there's a slide which is reflected after this as well. Internal control plus the governance standards. You look at and read out what is.
They can take 5 minutes more. Whoever wants to come, Anil can come. No, anybody can come and they can.
You see that the management of the company, the MD and the other directors, the promoters of the company have been hauled up for insider trading in relation to SHL shares, which is part of their group company. Then there has been default in shareholding norms where they had to actually hold less than or 25% or less than that, which they had not been able to do. Then there was violation by the directors in terms of the takeover regulations. And then on top of that, one of the promoters is involved in the criminal proceedings and is also in an insolvency proceedings, So all in all, it gives you a negative view on the company itself. Mind you, the brand value has been good, and that's what is keeping the company afloat. In terms of other things, there's been a notice issued by the National Anti-Profiteering Authority under the CGST Act. One of the non-executive directors and an independent director independent director has been listed as a defaulter in the CIBIL list. That again is a negative. So independent directors, in fact, going into a default. I'm hearing that for the first time. Most of the restaurants of this company are leased, and volatility in the real estate prices could impact it. You have another factor which is there. The key man's personal loss could impact the business. In terms of key man, the promoter himself, the managing director, knows the knowledge of the market, and if there is any problem which arises to this person, the whole of the company could crumble. So, in short, it's a risk. Then there is concentration risk because most of their units are in Mumbai, NCR, Bangalore, and New Delhi, accounting for nearly 40% of the business. And then the next point is not that relevant. And here are the red flags. Promoters or MD shares are pledged, and in case of invocation could adversely affect and impact the business. Then there are restrictive covenants on debt agreements, consolidated debt of 94.29 crores as of that's an old date. Lapse in internal control. So as I said, there have been lapses in internal control. There might be an impact of difference in the way the accounting is done, because once it gets listed, you need to have the accounting standards coming into play, where what is mentioned here and what the accounting standards and the whole Ind AS way of accounting could materially make a difference in the numbers which the company actually puts out. Again and again and again, I would say related party transactions, and I'm scared of this because this group continues to have other restaurants run by the promoters of this company. So there is, on top of that, there are related party transactions. So you can imagine the issues which might arise from these. And again, portion of the net proceeds to be used for repayment of the loan from BRLM. So they have taken a loan from a BRLM and they need to actually repay that. And the proceeds of this issue will go towards repayment of that loan. Luckily for them, yesterday's figures have indicated that the subscription has already been met. So, how much oversubscription happens is anybody's guess. I'm not sure how much. I don't want to guess. And, if you want to actually invest in this IPO, the disclaimer, as I put it, I've told you all the pros and cons. Please go through the RHP, study it in depth, have a talk with your investment advisor, and then invest. I've just given this as in terms of the financials, which has been in losses. So I'm not too sure. And on the website, it's on the presentation itself, I've given the link to the RHP. So please go through the RHP before investing. Manoj,
I would just add, everybody should make efforts to get the RHP. They are available on the regulator sites and the investment banker sites. And please download. You will see many things missing in many RHPs, and some good RHPs. It is there also the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some try to evade information. Some try to give excellent industry information. And please do that. I am glad Prakash Bhatia ji, global banker, is also there. And any thoughts, please share. Anil D'Souza, also any thoughts on the VIVEKPATRA?
I just want
to final closure by Archana.
Manoj bhai, just one question to all.
Put your video on, please, sir. Sir, put your video on so everybody can see you. You are a co-founder of the VIVEKPATRA, so it's really great. Your thoughts and Anil D'Souza and then anybody else, and finally it's Archana's prerogative.
Just one thing I would like to ask panel. Now, Kalyan Jewellers IPO listed in discount, around 10 rupees discount. So, what is the take on that now? Because it's a leading jewelers in India, and with a lot of advertisement they are going on. So, is it still attractive now, or as the sir has said earlier, Sandeep,
you will get your answer. Yes, we can get your answer to this. Then your next one.
Okay, that's the only question I want to know.
Okay, then you will answer one question also on banking.
Can it be a next Titan? Just want to know, next Tanishq, Kalyan Jewellers can be mini Tanishq or mini Titan. That's it. That's only single point question my
And let the first privilege be Sandeep. Then I'll add.
Okay, I'll answer that question in this way. In fact, the first one And I think VIVEKPATRA, the ideal, and I will show this slide again and again and again. The ideal of our Patra is actually being truthful, and governance standards is the most important. So from our point of view, you compare Kalyan Jewelers and Titan, and in fact, the answers can come out of it. Titan has been very, very transparent in their dealings with their shareholders. They actually provide information ahead of time, and if there are any problems, in fact, when the COVID situation happened, they were the first ones to come and tell us that there are there are problems ahead. So will Kalyan Jewelers be the same? Number one. Number two, which I would say is Titan has a lot more products which are at a higher end than Kalyan Jewelers. Plus the quality of and for me, when you say that you are truthful, also comes the quality, because people blindly go to Titan because the quality is high, and it is an assured thing that the quality will be as per the standards. That is one of the reasons why people will definitely keep on going to Titan for that aspect. Secondly, or thirdly, I would say you have a lot of products, which in a range of products in Titan. Kalyan Jewelers is a jeweler and jeweler alone. So that again is something which you need to look at. So perspective wise, Kalyan Jewelers will be impacted by prices which are fluctuating in terms of the gold in the international market. Whereas that much of an impact might not be had from the point of view of Titan. You may add Manoj on whatever you want to say.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Try. Yeah, try. Archana is trying to reconnect again because the final privilege is hers. I will certainly add. Now, Prakash, your video is on?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
video
fine.
is on.
Please be there. So you are there on the screen along with the message which says be truthful. Now, your answer was clearly whether this company is the next Unlisted, right?
Yeah.
Very clearly, one line answer, very clear, unequivocal view, no. Simplest answer, no. Not today, not tomorrow, not day after, and not during the lifetime. Very clear answer, be truthful. Number two, the promoter of the company, the board members of the company, independent directors of the company, CEO, CXO, CFO are welcome to come on this platform to answer questions. Very simple questions, just 3 questions. And then you will get a clear answer whether they want to be the next Unlisted and how. Let us have it from the horse's mouth very clearly, and then let them answer the 3 questions. There is a clear regulator's rule on transcripts. There was a committee appointed November, Keki Mistry was heading it, right? There was a discussion paper of sharing transcripts with exchanges and with all investors. Has the transcript, that communication has been shared with exchanges? Or they are waiting for some notification which they are saying on legalities that will happen later? Has it been shared? Do you have access to the conversation they had with fund managers or anchor investors?
No.
Do you have, yeah, very clear. Do you have access to the Excel models about the company and its future projections, which was shared with some selectively with some anchor investors and some operators? Do you have that?
No.
You have answered the question yourself. And now one question from you. You have been a co-founder of the VIVEKPATRA and has been doing a lot of contribution working behind the scenes for years, right? You are a global experience. You have traveled across the world in the last few years. And also this year is challenging. In just 1 or 2 minutes, if you can share your experience as a global banker, and particularly because today issues on Forex and market updates and issues for the home and so many points covered in so many slides of VIVEKPATRA by every contributor is there. And hopefully in the next VIVEKPATRA, your name is also added in the acknowledgement. Yeah.
Just want to say one thing, that last time when the COVID has come, globally also, and the perspective of India was very fearful. People, even when we put the proposal there, everything was on a wait and watch mode. However, from September onwards or from August onwards, the capital market has really picked up, and that has helped us to revive the economy. And economy from October onwards has really turned around in a very fast way. It's in a, you can say, a V-shaped recovery very fast. And also there are a lot of FII have invested money in India. Stock market has survived, and not only survived, it has gone up. So the investor across the global now, they are looking India at very, very surprisingly positive way now. And that you can see many companies are getting money from the investor from outside. Number one. Number two, now vaccination has already started. COVID now, just I think right now, according to me, next critical 2 months is very critical, because of what is happening in Bombay, what is happening in Maharashtra. The number of COVID cases has gone up so high, and now we are facing curfew from tomorrow. So that should not spread across India. What is to be seen for next 2 months? Because everybody is asking why in Bengal so many rallies happening and there is no COVID. Outside Delhi, farmers are protesting, there is no COVID. And why it is happening in Maharashtra and Bombay so much? So I think again India is facing the question mark of COVID. So next 2 months, if we survive, if COVID situation doesn't worsen, India will again go back fast, and we will get a lot of sanction and a lot of money will come from foreigners. So still we are coming in wait and watch mode for next 2 months at least. That's what I feel.
Shall I add something to your thoughts?
Just one more thing. And across even European, if you see, the COVID is again come in a second wave. So again, I feel that although everything is positive, we have had a fight COVID last year, but again now 2 months is very critical. That's it.
Okay, have you finished?
Yeah.
With your permission, can I add something?
Yeah.
Some issues was mentioned about survive. I will clearly and unequivocally say in no uncertain terms, survival is fine, revival is good, and India will thrive and be at the forefront of the India growth story, and all the countries will bow down and look at India's learnings and lessons and benefit from the huge knowledge India is contributing to the cosmic universe and healthcare of all the global citizens. Indian healthcare is the best and will continue to be the best. And also the vaccines of India, which will ultimately be developed, and another strains will come, doses will be there and will be the best in the world. Very, very clearly, international pharma companies also will learn from Indian healthcare system. So that will come. So survival is past. People raise questions. It is very good, because skepticism is very good for success. With the benefit of the hard work and sustained wisdom on various issues by you and other co-founders and all the participants, the time to thrive has come. And Aishwari, you mentioned about $3 trillion, right? A couple of days back, something in White House. Right, Aishwari, you are there? $3 trillion was mentioned about the bill White House there are so many houses and there are so many colors of different houses. Today's Global Finance Capital Market and Home Summit. So it will be the 7 colors of the rainbow, all the houses, and not only 3 trillion. Huge stimulus will happen, and the global economy will thrive, led by the Indian economy and the Indian healthcare system. It will depend on all the participants have to make sustained efforts, and efforts will be successful. All obstacles by people who are unethical, who don't have integrity, or the ugly thing would be exposed when the good, bad, and ugly is clearly differentiated very clearly by being truthful on this global platform. Those are my, humble closing ideas, and anybody else can supplement. Anil, you are there? Archana, Anil D'Souza.
Yeah, Manoj, I'm there.
Put your video on and final thoughts if Anil's connectivity is there, and Dinesh Kotecha, or anybody, final 2 minutes for any participants, any panelists, and final word of wisdom from you.
Yeah, thank you, Manojji. Wonderful presentation by all the panelists, Anil, Sandeepji, Subratji. Really wonderful presentation, very knowledgeable, and it was a good deep dive for all of us. I thoroughly enjoyed.
Please acknowledge them also. Aishwari, Sandeep,
yeah, no doubt. Aishwari stands out. Yeah, Aishwari, Aditya, Yogesh Satpute, Anupam Petkar. Thank you everyone for all your contribution to VIVEKPATRA and co-hosting the think tank VIVEKPATRA. I think besides this also there are many more names which I have not taken. Manojji, please help me if I missed someone.
It's your call, and they can get opportunities in series, many more to come.
Yeah, and we look forward to more such series and deep dive presentations on the coming Saturdays also. Yeah.
Sundays also, weekdays also. Many people are requested. Sunday series has started, and a weekday post market and also on market. I feel a few people have mentioned. Health is Wealth series is there. Thanks to Prakash Bhatia, those concerns will be addressed. It can be done at any time, but you have to help in hosting it. Simple. And somebody suggested a financial chef also. Financial chef series, so healthy food or tasty food. Person working at the top globally renowned investment bank has become a chef, and he has asked if he can share a financial chef. So there will be many more participants, because when people talk about breakfast time or lunch, food comes to the mind, and he will teach you all by actual demos of the chef. Not only financial khichiris, actual khichiris also, healthy food and sumptuous food on all authentic specialties of all parts of the world, starting with
Manoj bhai, one request to you personally.
Personally, offline. Now, what our thanks is finally done. Prakashji, what our thanks is finally done by Archana. I will take all issues offline.
Only one
offline.
For
Prakashji, we'll take all issues offline. We'll take all issues offline. Finally is done by Archana. We can take other issues offline.
Just a meditation process. That's it. Yoga, you are involved. Just meditation.
We'll take all those issues online, including the points you shared on health is wealth and financial chef and all the further things on the VIVEKPATRA.
Okay.
Can we close the meeting? We have a digital capital market summit on the professional body platform with 3 CPRs today 4 to 7.
and many people have prepared for it. And Prakash bhai, if possible, you also try to join that, and some sharing will be done in the social media. 4 to 7 is a digital capital market summit by a globally well-known professional body where many of you are members of it. Today, 4 to 7, and with 3 CPR.
Okay.
And special think tank VIVEKPATRA is mentioned in it. And many more slides. Be there in the interactive session and everybody is welcome. It is on a GoToMeeting platform.
Okay.
Great. Prakash bhai, really wonderful you have come. And really, it's a co-founder of the VIVEKPATRA in the summit. Lots more expected by you on deep dive presentations you have done on microfinance. Many more you will do. This is just offline subject to Archana's approval. And thank you, Archana, Aditya. A big thank you to each of you and each of the participants. And those who did not get opportunity today, humble apologies for you. Please be there in the series of conclaves and webinars. Everybody will get a clear opportunity. I saw a person's name called Satyadev. I was really delighted. And everybody will get a clear opportunity on being fruitful. All people who have got ethics and integrity, and the Satya word and the word Dev would be followed in true spirit.
Okay.
Archana, final word by you only, and then close the meeting.
Thank you.
Final word by me. I missed Nipun ji and his excellent contribution to the Vivek Think Tank Patra over a period of what I've seen over the last 5 years. And I think he is also there, and Ramesh ji. So thank you all of you.
If he is there, invite him to speak. He has been watching on the YouTube throughout. Is he there, connected?
No, I'm not able to see him.
No. He was there, but I'm glad you have acknowledged him. He has been watching thoroughly on YouTube. Maybe on a 20 screen
and I think
50 branches, I don't know.
We were trying to reach Anil. Anil, so anything from you?
Yes, of course. A big thank you to the Digital Global team. A lot of gratitude and acknowledgement and appreciation for these initiatives. Big thank you to Archana for introducing such wonderful panel of eminent speakers, and the topics were really very rich. Thank you to Hemant, Sandeep, Mitesh, Aditya, Subrat, and a big thank you to Manoj sir also. Thank you very much, sir.
Biggest one should go to Archana and Prakash bhai. He came at the right moment. It would not have been complete without Prakash bhai. He works at a global foreign bank.
Thank you, sir. I am a very small contributor. Nothing I have done. Anyway, I am
formerly with ICICI, formerly with Aditya Birla Group, and now by a well-known global bank.
Just one request, sir. The meditation video for benefit of group due to.
It will be done if Archana permits. It will certainly be done.
In the WhatsApp you share, sir.
No, WhatsApp. No,
group.
It is only on. It's only on LinkedIn and Facebook now. Global platforms.
Okay.
Clearly, everybody is supposed to connect. Invite all your friends and LinkedIn so they could join. Today has been mainly speakers, and everybody is welcome to open it. Everybody, you can invite all your friends on LinkedIn and Facebook. Of course, you can use your own WhatsApps also, subject to the policies of the media platforms. Somebody suggested Instagram. Go ahead and do it as per your own limitations, opportunities, and risks. Do a sort of every platform, and this platform has to be really ensure ethics, integrity, and be truthful. So my humble thanks to everybody.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.